The wind howled through the dense trees of the forest of death, carrying with it the echoes of harsh whispers from the villagers of Konoha. In the midst of the third Hokage's reign, the village still carried the heavy burden of the Nine Tails attack from 12 years ago. Despite the peace that had followed, one boy remained at the center of their fear and hatred. Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto sprinted through the woods, clutching his arms to his chest, his breath ragged from running so fast. He had just narrowly escaped another mob. The sneers, jeers, and rocks that had been hurled at him rang in his ears like an unbearable cacophony, drowning out the gentle rustling of the forest. Get back here, demon! Why won't he just leave already? Naruto's heart pounded in his chest, not just from the exertion, but from the deep-seated sadness that gnawed at his insides. He knew they hated him, but no one had ever told him why. The pain of their rejection stung worse than any punch or bruise. All he had ever wanted was to be acknowledged, to be someone other than the village's pariah. Tears pricked at the edges of his eyes, but he wiped them away angrily. He wouldn't cry, not in front of them, not when they had already taken so much from him. He pushed forward, weaving through the trees with a speed that surprised even himself. Why? Why does it have to be like this? Naruto muttered, clenching his fists so hard that his nails dug into his palms. Why am I the one they hate? He came to a stop near a clearing in the woods, his chest heaving as he tried to catch his breath. The silence here was comforting, a stark contrast to the chaos of the village. Naruto dropped to his knees, letting the exhaustion settle in. Why? His voice was barely a whisper now, the weight of everything he carried pressing down on him like a suffocating blanket. Why can't I be strong enough to make them see me? As the words left his lips, something stirred within him. A strange heat welled up in his chest, not the same as the burning sensation of anger or frustration that he was used to. This felt different. It was as if something was awakening inside of him, something ancient and untamed. Naruto blinked, suddenly feeling lightheaded. His vision blurred for a moment, and when it cleared, he noticed the air around him had grown heavy, almost oppressive. His breath hitched as he looked down at his hands. They were trembling, but not out of fear or exhaustion. It was power. He could feel it, a deep, overwhelming power that seemed to pulse through every cell in his body. What's happening? Naruto muttered, his voice shaky as he struggled to comprehend the sensations coursing through him. Before he could process it any further, the ground beneath him began to tremble. The leaves on the trees shook violently, and a low rumble echoed through the forest. Naruto's body responded to the power instinctively, his muscles tightening as if preparing for something. His eyes widened as a surge of energy exploded from within him, sending shockwaves through the clearing. A blinding green light erupted from Naruto's body, enveloping him in a sphere of raw energy. The power was so intense that it pushed the surrounding trees back, snapping their trunks like twigs. Naruto's scream pierced the air as the energy twisted and coiled around him, reshaping his very being. No! Naruto gasped, struggling to control the surge of power. His heart pounded faster, each beat reverberating through his body like a drum. He gritted his teeth, feeling the immense pressure building inside him, threatening to burst out at any moment. He could hear faint voices in the back of his mind, distant and almost inaudible. But their words were clear. Saiyan blood, legendary. Warrior. Naruto had no idea what they meant, but there was a strange familiarity in those words. Something about them felt right, as if they were tied to a part of him he had never known existed. Then, the green light exploded outward, sending a shockwave through the forest that leveled everything in its path. Naruto's body was consumed by the energy, and for a moment, all he could feel was pain. His muscles strained as they expanded, his bones cracking as they realigned themselves. His mind screamed for it to stop, but the power kept surging, tearing through him without mercy. It felt like an eternity. But eventually, the light began to fade. Naruto collapsed to the ground, his body trembling and drenched in sweat. His vision swam as he tried to make sense of what had just happened. He could feel the energy inside him, still pulsing, but it had settled now, no longer trying to tear him apart. Naruto groaned and forced himself to his feet, his legs wobbling beneath him. His entire body felt different, stronger, heavier. He clenched his fists and looked down at them, expecting to see some sort of burn or scar. But instead, he saw something far more shocking. His arms had grown thicker, his muscles more defined than they had ever been before. His skin, once pale and scrawny, now held a strange, almost golden hue. He reached up to touch his hair, finding that it had grown wild and spiky, standing upright in a way that was unnatural for him. What is this?" Naruto whispered, his voice hoarse, before he could process the change any further. A rustling noise behind him drew his attention. He turned, his senses suddenly sharper than ever before. Emerging from the trees were two men, shinobi from the village, recognizable by their headbands. Their expressions were twisted with anger and fear. "There he is!" one of them shouted, pointing at Naruto. "The demon's gone berserk." Naruto blinked, still disoriented from the transformation. But the accusation hit him like a punch to the gut. He wanted to explain, to tell them that he wasn't the monster they thought he was. But something stopped him. The power inside him flared, urging him to fight back. "No," Naruto muttered, shaking his head. "I'm not a demon." But they weren't listening. The two shinobi charged at him, weapons drawn, their killing intent clear. Naruto felt his heart race. But this time, it wasn't out of fear. It was something else. As they lunged at him, Naruto's body reacted on its own. He sidestepped the first shinobi with ease, his movements almost too fast for him to comprehend. The second came at him with a kunai, aiming for his neck. But Naruto caught the blade with his bare hand. The metal screeched as it bent under his grip. The shinobi's eyes widened in shock. What are you?" Naruto didn't answer. The power inside him surged again. And before he knew it, he had slammed his fist into the shinobi's chest. The force of the blow sent the man flying backward, crashing through several trees before landing motionless in the dirt. The first shinobi hesitated, clearly unnerved by what he had just witnessed. Naruto looked down at his own hand, bewildered by the raw strength he had just displayed. It felt natural, as if it had always been there, waiting to be unleashed. "I don't know what's happening," Naruto said softly, his voice trembling. "But I'm not going to let anyone hurt me anymore." The remaining shinobi stumbled back, fear evident in his eyes. "Stay away, you monster." Naruto's heart clenched at the word. But the power inside him roared louder, drowning out his self-doubt. He could feel it now. This was his power, something beyond anything he had ever known. He wasn't weak anymore. He wasn't a victim. And he wasn't going to let anyone tell him otherwise. Without another word, Naruto turned and sprinted deeper into the forest, leaving the terrified shinobi behind. His mind raced with questions. But for the first time in his life, there was a sense of certainty. Whatever this power was, it was his. And it had awakened for a reason. As he ran, he felt the energy inside him settle, like a storm finally calming after raging for hours. But it was still there, lurking beneath the surface, ready to explode at a moment's notice. Naruto glanced down at his hands again, clenching them into fists. He didn't fully understand what had happened to him. But one thing was clear. He wasn't the same Naruto Uzumaki anymore. Naruto darted through the trees, his feet barely touching the ground as he moved with a speed and grace that astonished him. His muscles felt coiled, ready to unleash more power at any second. And yet, he could feel a strange sense of control, like he could direct this newfound strength. But only if he learned to harness it properly. The familiar weight of the village's hatred still lingered. But for once, it didn't crush him. He didn't feel small or helpless anymore. There was something inside him, something massive and unstoppable, that made the pain of their scorn feel like a distant memory. After what felt like hours, Naruto finally slowed, coming to a stop by the edge of a tranquil river. The moon's reflection shimmered across the water's surface, casting a pale glow over the forest. Naruto stared at his reflection, still not quite recognizing the face that stared back at him. His hair was wilder, and his eyes burned with a fierce, almost predatory light. He clenched his fists, flexing his muscles experimentally, feeling the raw power pulse just beneath his skin. "What am I?" he whispered to himself, watching the way his breath fogged the surface of the river. His mind raced back to the voices he had heard, The strange words that had echoed in his head when the power first awakened. Saiyan blood. Legendary warrior, the words were unfamiliar. Yet they felt like they belonged to him. He had never heard of a Saiyan. And he had certainly never considered himself a warrior, legendary or otherwise. But something deep inside him told him it was the truth. Just as Naruto was about to lose himself in thought, a familiar voice rang out from behind him. So, this is where you've been hiding. Naruto spun around, his heart skipping a beat. Standing a few feet away, leaning against a tree with his arms crossed, was Iruka-sensei. His usual kind and patient expression was replaced with something darker, concern, and perhaps a hint of fear. Iruka-sensei. Naruto's voice came out hoarse. He hadn't expected to see his teacher out here, especially not after the chaos in the village. Iruka pushed himself off the tree and walked closer, his sandals crunching softly on the forest floor. Naruto, what's going on? The villagers, they're saying you've. His voice trailed off as his eyes fell on Naruto's transformed body. His brow furrowed in confusion. What happened to you? Naruto looked down at his hands, feeling the surge of power still humming through him. He didn't know how to explain it, didn't even fully understand it himself. I don't know, Naruto admitted, his voice trembling slightly. Something happened. Iruka-sensei. I was running from the villagers. And then, this power, it just woke up inside me. I don't know where it came from. Iruka's gaze softened, and he sighed, taking a few cautious steps closer. Naruto, power like this, it's dangerous. You've always been a strong kid, even if you don't see it yourself. But something like this could get out of control if you're not careful. Naruto frowned. I don't want to hurt anyone. I didn't ask for this power. But maybe now they'll stop treating me like a monster. Maybe they'll finally see that I'm strong. That I'm not someone they can just push around. Iruka's eyes darkened for a moment, and he looked away, his hand gripping the hilt of a kunai at his waist. Naruto, power isn't everything. It doesn't change how people see you. Only you can do that by showing them who you really are. But what if who I am isn't enough? Naruto shot back, his voice rising with emotion. What if no matter what I do, they'll always hate me? Iruka froze for a moment, the question hanging in the air like a heavy weight. The sadness in Naruto's voice cut through the night, and it was clear that this wasn't just about the power. It was about everything, years of loneliness, rejection, and the crushing burden of being the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Naruto lowered his gaze, his hands trembling at his sides. I just want them to see me. Is that too much to ask? Iruka stepped forward and placed a firm hand on Naruto's shoulder. Naruto, you're not alone. I see you. And so do a lot of other people. Even if you don't realize it yet. You don't need this power to prove yourself to anyone. Naruto's throat tightened, and for a moment, he felt the warmth of Iruka's words settle over him like a comforting blanket. But then, that deep, primal energy surged within him again, whispering promises of strength and dominance. It was intoxicating, the idea that he could use this power to finally make the villagers respect him, or fear him, if necessary. Naruto shook his head, trying to clear his thoughts. But I can't just ignore it. Iruka-sensei. This power, it's a part of me now. I can feel it. Like it's always been there, waiting to come out. Iruka's grip on Naruto's shoulder tightened. Then you need to control it. Naruto. Don't let it control you. For a long moment, the two stood in silence, the sound of the river gently flowing behind them. Naruto felt the weight of Iruka's words, but the power inside him still pulsed, tempting him to let go and give in to its strength. He didn't know what he would become if he did. Before he could respond, a sudden rustling sound from the trees above caught their attention. Iruka's body tensed, and in an instant, he had his kunai drawn, eyes scanning the canopy. Who's there? Iruka called out, his voice sharp. A figure dropped down from the trees, landing softly on the ground. Naruto's eyes widened in surprise as he recognized the silver hair and half-covered face of one of Konoha's most skilled jonin. Kakashi-sensei? Naruto blurted out, his surprise evident. Kakashi Hitaki stood before them, his single visible eye studying Naruto with an intensity that made the boy's stomach twist. He wasn't smiling, or at least, Naruto couldn't tell if he was behind his mask. The usually laid-back Jonin had an air of seriousness about him, one that Naruto had rarely seen. "Iruka," Kakashi greeted, nodding to the Chunin before turning his gaze back to Naruto. "I felt a massive surge of chakra from the village. I came to check on things and, well, I found something even more interesting." Naruto shifted uncomfortably under Kakashi's gaze. "It's not chakra, Kakashi-sensei. I don't think it is. Anyway." Kakashi raised an eyebrow, his eye narrowing slightly. "Oh? Then what is it?" I don't know," Naruto admitted again. "It's just, this power. It's different. It's not like anything I've felt before." Kakashi approached slowly, his expression thoughtful. "Different? Huh. That's one way to put it. Whatever it is, it's dangerous. I can feel it from here." Naruto bit his lip, glancing between Iruka and Kakashi. He didn't want them to think he was a threat, but he couldn't deny the raw power coursing through him. He had to learn to control it. If he didn't, it could overwhelm him, and maybe even hurt the people he cared about. "I'll figure it out," Naruto said, more to himself than anyone else. "I'll learn to control it." Kakashi nodded, but there was a gravity in his expression that made Naruto's skin prickle. "Good. Because if you don't, there are others who won't hesitate to take matters into their own hands." Naruto stiffened, understanding the unspoken warning in Kakashi's words. He wasn't just talking about the villagers. The higher-ups in Konoha, the Hokage, the Anbu, maybe even Danzo, wouldn't ignore something as dangerous as the power Naruto was displaying. "Just take it one step at a time," Iruka added, his voice softer now. "You're not alone, Naruto. You got us." Naruto nodded, grateful for their support. But deep down, he knew that this was something only he could face. The power inside him was a part of him now, and whether he liked it or not, he had to confront it. He clenched his fists, feeling the energy thrumming beneath his skin once more. The journey to mastering this power would be long and difficult, but Naruto had never backed down from a challenge before, and he wasn't about to start now. With one final glance at Iruka and Kakashi, Naruto turned and began to walk back toward the village, his resolve hardening with every step. Whatever this power was, he would master it, no matter what it took. As Naruto walked back toward the village, the weight of the conversation with Iruka and Kakashi clung to him. The idea of controlling the power, rather than letting it consume him, replayed in his mind. But each step he took only seemed to intensify the presence of that energy within him, like a beast lurking just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to emerge. The villagers had always looked at him with scorn and suspicion. But now they would fear him. He could feel it, the whispers of their thoughts lingering in the air. And it was strange. There was a part of him that didn't mind it anymore. Fear wasn't the same as respect, but it was better than the empty, crushing loneliness he'd felt for so long. He could hear the faint sounds of life returning to normal in the village as he approached the gates, the damage from the earlier chaos mostly cleaned up. Still, he knew the rumors would be spreading like wildfire by now. The Nine-Tails Jinchuriki had been spotted with overwhelming power, unlike anything they'd seen before. The news would reach the ears of the Hokage soon enough, if it hadn't already. Naruto wasn't sure how he felt about that. He had always dreamed of earning the Hokage's respect, of proving to everyone that he was worthy of the title himself one day. But with this new power, would they even give him a chance? Or would they see him as more of a threat than ever before? As he crossed the threshold into the village, he noticed a few villagers glancing his way, their eyes wide with uncertainty. Some hurried off in the opposite direction, while others watched him with narrowed eyes. The tension in the air was palpable, and Naruto clenched his fists, forcing himself to keep walking. He was nearly at his apartment when a familiar voice called out from behind him. "Naruto!" He turned to see Sakura rushing toward him, her forehead crinkled with worry. She came to a stop a few feet away, her breath coming in short gasps. "What happened?" she demanded, her eyes scanning him for any injuries. "I heard from some of the villagers. They said you had this crazy power." Naruto scratched the back of his head, feeling awkward under her intense gaze. "Yeah, I guess something weird happened. I don't really get it myself." Sakura stared at him for a moment, her worry deepening. "Are you okay? I mean, you didn't get hurt, did you?" I'm fine, Naruto replied, forcing a smile. It's just different. Sakura stepped closer, her eyes softening. You know you don't have to go through this alone, right? If something's wrong, we can figure it out together. Naruto appreciated her concern, but there was a distance between them that he couldn't quite bridge. How could he explain this? How could he make her understand the enormity of the power that now surged within him? This wasn't something that could be solved with teamwork or a quick pep talk. Before he could respond, Sakura's expression suddenly shifted. She took a step back, her eyes widening as she looked over his shoulder. Naruto frowned, following her gaze. Standing a short distance away was Sasuke, arms crossed, watching them with his usual brooding intensity. His eyes were fixed on Naruto, and there was something in his gaze that made Naruto's skin crawl. Sasuke. Naruto muttered, unsure of what to expect. Sasuke didn't respond immediately, his dark eyes scanning Naruto from head to toe, as if sizing him up. Finally, he spoke, his voice low and cold. What the hell happened to you? Naruto tensed. There was always tension between him and Sasuke. But this was different. It wasn't just rivalry or frustration. It was something deeper. Something that made the hair on the back of Naruto's neck stand on end. I don't know, Naruto said honestly. It just happened. Sasuke's lips twisted into a thin, mocking smile. You expect me to believe that? You don't just get power like that. Something changed. And you're not telling us what? Naruto's frustration flared. He didn't owe Sasuke an explanation. Not when he barely understood it himself. What do you care? Sasuke. It's not like I asked for this. Sasuke's smile vanished, replaced by a hard, calculating expression. You don't get it. Do you? Power like that doesn't come without a price. You think you're stronger now. But all you've done is become more of a target. Naruto bristled at Sasuke's words. But a part of him couldn't deny the truth in them. Ever since this power had awakened, everything had changed. He was no longer just the loudmouth orphan from the academy. He was something more, and with that came consequences. Sasuke took a step closer, his voice lowering to a near growl. You want to get stronger, don't you? But this, whatever this is, it's not enough. You'll lose control. And when you do, it won't just be the villagers coming after you. Naruto stared at Sasuke, a mix of anger and confusion swirling in his chest. What are you saying, Sasuke? Sasuke's eyes gleamed with a dangerous intensity. I'm saying that if you don't figure out how to use that power, you'll never catch up to me. And when that happens, you'll regret it. The tension between them was electric, and for a brief moment, Naruto felt the urge to challenge Sasuke, to prove that this power wasn't something to fear. But before he could act on it, Sakura stepped between them, her voice firm. Stop it, both of you, she snapped, glaring at them. This isn't the time for your stupid rivalry. Naruto, you need to figure out what's going on with you. And Sasuke, you should be helping, not making things worse. Naruto blinked, surprised by her outburst. Sakura rarely got involved in their spats, but there was something different in her tone this time. Something that spoke of genuine concern. Sasuke said nothing, his expression unreadable as he turned and walked away, disappearing into the shadows of the village. Naruto watched him go, his fists clenched at his sides. Sakura sighed, rubbing her temples. He's such an idiot sometimes. Naruto managed a weak smile. Yeah, I guess he's not wrong. Though. I need to figure this out. Sakura turned to him, her eyes softening again. You will, Naruto. Just don't push yourself too hard. Okay. We'll help you. No matter what. Naruto nodded, but deep down, he knew this was a journey he'd have to take alone. The power inside him wasn't something that could be easily understood or controlled. It was wild, primal, and tied to something far beyond the world of shinobi. As Sakura gave him one last reassuring smile and headed back toward the village, Naruto found himself alone once more, standing at the crossroads between the life he had known and the path that now stretched before him. The power of the Saiyan blood coursed through his veins, and with it came the weight of untold strength and the burden of responsibility. Naruto took a deep breath, gazing out at the moonlit horizon. Whatever this power was, he would find a way to master it. Because one thing was clear. His journey had only just begun. As Naruto stood under the pale moonlight, the weight of his newfound power settling on his shoulders, he realized that the days of being the village outcast had ended. But what came next was equally daunting. The strength coursing through him felt limitless, yet uncontrollable. How could he manage something so vast and foreign? He didn't know. But one thing was certain. He couldn't allow this power to consume him. Naruto started to walk slowly, his feet taking him toward the outskirts of the village. He needed time to think, time to understand what was happening to him. The village had already begun to notice the change, and soon the Hokage and other shinobi would start asking questions. Kakashi and Iruka's warnings echoed in his mind. Control the power before it controls you. As Naruto reached a secluded clearing near the training grounds, the memories of what had transpired earlier flooded his mind. The overwhelming sensation of raw energy awakening within him. His body reacting instinctively to the mob's aggression. The transformation had been unlike anything he had ever felt. Not like the Nine Tails chakra, which was always sharp and angry. This was something else entirely, untamed, fierce, but strangely calm in its overwhelming intensity. Naruto stood in the center of the clearing, the breeze gently rustling the grass around him. He clenched his fists and closed his eyes, concentrating on the power within him. The village was safe for now, but deep down, he knew that if he couldn't harness this energy, it could lead to disaster, not just for himself but for everyone he cared about. Come on. Naruto muttered to himself, focusing harder, trying to will the power into his control. His muscles tightened, his pulse quickened, and for a split second, he felt that deep well of energy rise within him again. His body trembled, and his heart raced as the power surged. But just as quickly, it slipped from his grasp like sand between his fingers. His body returned to normal, leaving him frustrated and panting for breath. Naruto gritted his teeth. This wasn't going to be easy. He was about to try again when the sound of footsteps interrupted his thoughts. He turned sharply, half expecting it to be another villager or maybe even Kakashi checking in on him again. But when he saw who it was, his heart skipped a beat. Standing just at the edge of the clearing was none other than Jiraiya, the Toad Sage. His long white hair flowed behind him, and his usual mischievous grin was nowhere to be found. Instead, Jiraiya's face was serious. His eyes narrowed as he observed Naruto closely. "Pervy Sage?" Naruto called out, surprised to see his master. He hadn't expected Jiraiya to be back in the village so soon. Jiraiya nodded slowly, his arms crossed over his chest. "I heard some things, Naruto. Things about you getting into trouble with the villagers again. But this time, it's not just about pranks, is it?" Naruto tensed, unsure of how to respond. Jiraiya wasn't one to pry too much, but he could always see through Naruto's defenses. The Toad Sage's keen instincts had probably led him here, sensing that something had shifted in his student. "It's complicated," Naruto said, lowering his gaze. "Something happened, and now I have this power inside me. It's not chakra, not like the Nine Tails either. It's different." Jiraiya's expression grew more serious as he approached Naruto. "Different how?" Naruto hesitated, trying to put the sensation into words. "It feels like I'm stronger, way stronger than before. But it's wild, like it could explode at any moment if I'm not careful." Jiraiya nodded, his eyes scanning Naruto's form carefully. "I can sense it. Whatever this power is, it's not something I've encountered before. But I'll tell you this, Naruto. It's not just strength that makes a shinobi powerful. Control is just as important, if not more." Naruto nodded, feeling a flicker of hope that Jiraiya might be able to help him. "So what do I do? How do I control it?" Jiraiya placed a hand on his chin, thinking deeply. "First, you need to understand the nature of this power. It's not just chakra, and it's not something that can be tamed by force alone. You'll need discipline and a clear mind. But before that, we need to figure out what triggered it." Naruto thought back to the moment when the power had first awakened. "I was being attacked by the villagers. I was angry, frustrated, like all the emotions I've been bottling up just exploded. Then, suddenly, I felt this surge of strength. My body changed, and I lost control for a bit." Jiraiya frowned. Sounds like it's tied to your emotions. Rage. Specifically. It's similar to how some people lose control when they tap into the nine tails chakra. If that's the case, we'll have to train you to manage your emotions and prevent them from causing these outbursts. Naruto looked up at Jiraiya, his determination flaring. I'll do whatever it takes. I don't want to hurt anyone, especially my friends. Jiraiya smiled faintly, resting a hand on Naruto's shoulder. Good. You've come a long way, Naruto. But this new power is going to test you in ways you haven't been tested before. We'll start training tomorrow at sunrise. Until then, I want you to rest and clear your mind. Naruto nodded, feeling a wave of relief wash over him. Jiraiya was here. And he wasn't alone in figuring this out. With his master's help, he could learn to control this power. As Jiraiya turned to leave, he paused, glancing back over his shoulder. Oh, and Naruto. Whatever this power is, don't forget who you are. You're still Naruto Uzumaki, don't let this change that. Naruto watched as Jiraiya walked away, his words lingering in the air. He wasn't just some random kid with strange powers. He was still Naruto. But deep down, Naruto knew that this power had already changed him, and the path ahead wouldn't be easy. As the night deepened, Naruto lay on the ground, staring up at the stars. His mind buzzed with thoughts of what was to come. The power of a Saiyan, a warrior born from a different world, was now his to master. But mastering it wouldn't be enough. He had to understand what it meant to wield such power responsibly, to balance it with his own identity. Naruto closed his eyes, taking a deep breath as the cool night breeze washed over him. Tomorrow, his training would begin in earnest. With Jiraiya's help, he would learn to control the strength within him. But even as he lay there, a faint pulse of energy stirred in his chest, reminding him that this was only the beginning. The power of the legendary Saiyan blood was a gift, one that came with tremendous potential, but also with a dangerous burden. Whatever challenges lay ahead, Naruto was ready to face them. Because now, he wasn't just fighting for himself. He was fighting for the village, for his friends, and for the future he had always dreamed of. With one last look at the stars, Naruto allowed himself to drift into sleep, his resolve stronger than ever. The dawn of a new chapter in his life was about to begin. As dawn broke over the hidden leaf village, the first rays of sunlight spilled across the horizon, casting a warm glow over the landscape. Naruto awoke with a start, the sounds of morning birds chirping outside his window pulling him from the depths of his dreams. He lay in bed for a moment, the memories of the previous night flooding back, the surge of power, Jiraiya's words, and the path ahead. With a determined breath, he threw off his blanket and jumped out of bed. The anticipation of training filled him with energy, and he quickly dressed, slipping into his familiar orange jumpsuit. As he tightened his headband around his forehead, a smile crept across his face. Today marked the beginning of his journey to master this newfound strength. He made his way down the familiar streets of the village, greeting fellow villagers who were starting their day. Some looked at him with caution, others with curiosity. But Naruto was determined not to let their reactions affect him. He was stronger now, and soon, they would see that he was more than just a vessel for the nine tails. When he reached the training grounds, the sun was fully up, casting a bright light over the area. The familiar wooden training dummies and obstacles were waiting for him, and in the distance, he spotted Jiraiya, already waiting for him with a thoughtful expression. "Good morning, Naruto," Jiraiya called, a hint of enthusiasm breaking through his usual demeanor. "You ready to get started?" "Yeah. I've been waiting for this," Naruto replied, his excitement bubbling over. "First things first," Jiraiya said, adopting a more serious tone. "We need to see exactly how powerful you are now and what this power can do. I want you to focus on feeling that energy inside you. Let it rise, but don't let it explode." Naruto nodded, feeling a flicker of anxiety mixed with eagerness. He had to be careful. He didn't want to repeat the uncontrolled chaos of the night before. He took a deep breath, centering himself, and closed his eyes. "Remember, this power is connected to your emotions," Jiraiya reminded him. "Harness that energy without letting it consume you." With that thought in mind, Naruto dug deep, focusing on the sensations within him. The power swirled inside, waiting to be unleashed. He could feel it tugging at his core. A wild beast just below the surface. Yearning for freedom. He opened his eyes. Determination burning in his gaze. Naruto took a step forward, feeling the ground beneath his feet as he concentrated. He began to channel the energy, feeling it coalesce around him. It flowed through his limbs, sparking to life as he focused. A faint blue glow emanated from his hands, illuminating the training ground. Jiraiya watched closely, his eyes widening with intrigue. That's it. Keep going. But remember to maintain control. The energy began to intensify, wrapping around him like an aura. It was exhilarating, empowering. Naruto let it flow, feeling stronger with each moment. He could feel the weight of the world lifting, the power acting as both an anchor and a catalyst. But then came the doubt. What if he couldn't control it? What if it slipped from his grasp? Focus, Naruto. Jiraiya's voice broke through the haze. You can't let your fear take over. Naruto gritted his teeth, shaking off the creeping anxiety. You're right. I won't let it control me. With that declaration, he pushed deeper into the flow, guiding the energy outward. The aura expanded, pulsating around him, shimmering with raw power. He raised his hands and focused on a nearby training dummy, envisioning it disintegrating under his might. Here goes nothing. Naruto shouted, channeling the energy into a single concentrated blast. The surge of power erupted from his hands, a brilliant beam of blue energy shooting forward and colliding with the dummy. The impact was explosive. The dummy shattered into pieces, scattering debris across the training ground. Breathless, Naruto stood there, staring at the destruction he had caused, his heart racing with exhilaration. I did it. I really did it. Not bad for a first try. Jiraiya replied, his voice laced with pride. But remember, power is not just about destruction. You need to learn how to control it, how to use it wisely. Naruto nodded, his heart still pounding from the rush. I understand. But it felt incredible. Like I could take on anything. Power can be a double-edged sword. Naruto, Jiraiya cautioned. It's important to understand that with great power comes great responsibility. You can't just think about what you can do. You need to think about the consequences as well. Naruto absorbed Jiraiya's words, letting them sink in. So what do we do next? Next, we train your body to handle that power. Strength is important, but so is endurance and control. Jiraiya explained. We'll start with some physical exercises to build your stamina. Then we'll move on to techniques that can help you manage and refine that energy. Naruto nodded, his enthusiasm bubbling over again. Let's do it. For the next few hours, Jiraiya put Naruto through a rigorous training regimen. They worked on various exercises, running laps, climbing trees, and honing his reflexes. Each activity was designed to push Naruto to his limits, to help him become accustomed to the power that now lay within him. At one point, as they practiced hand-to-hand combat, Jiraiya remarked, "You've got the physical skills down, but you need to incorporate that energy into your techniques. Let's focus on your chakra control first. Right? I'll get it this time." Naruto exclaimed, determination shining in his eyes. After a short break, they began working on basic jutsu again. But this time, Jiraiya had Naruto focus on infusing his chakra with the new energy he had awakened. Naruto struggled at first, the conflicting sensations almost overwhelming him. But with each attempt, he grew more comfortable. After several tries, he felt the energy stabilize, flowing through him like a river. He focused again on the Rasengan, molding the jutsu as he had done countless times before. But this time, he allowed the new energy to amplify it. Rasengan. Naruto shouted, thrusting his hand forward. The jutsu flared with a brilliant blue light, enhanced by the Saiyan energy, and launched forward. It spiraled toward a new target, a sturdy boulder set up nearby. The impact was tremendous. The boulder disintegrated into a cloud of dust and rock shards, scattering around him. Breathless and exhilarated, Naruto turned to Jiraiya, who looked both surprised and impressed. "You did it! That's amazing! You've integrated your new power with your jutsu already. I can feel it." Naruto beamed, his excitement radiating. "This is incredible. Now, the key is consistency. You need to practice until it feels as natural as breathing, Jiraiya advised, his voice full of encouragement. And remember, you need to remain calm. Any moment of panic can lead to a loss of control. Naruto nodded, soaking in Jiraiya's guidance. I'll keep practicing. I won't let anyone down. Good attitude, Naruto, Jiraiya replied, grinning. Now, let's step it up a notch. We're going to add some pressure. As the sun reached its zenith, Jiraiya had Naruto face off against him in a mock battle. You're going to have to learn to think on your feet while managing that power. I want to see what you can do. All right, Naruto said, his excitement palpable. I'm ready. The two squared off, and Jiraiya launched the first attack. Naruto dodged instinctively, remembering their training, but he could feel the pressure mounting. This wasn't just training anymore, this was real. Jiraiya moved quickly, throwing a series of punches and kicks, testing Naruto's reflexes and control. At first, Naruto struggled, his focus wavering under the intensity of the fight. But then, he remembered the energy within him. The thrill of harnessing that power. He summoned it again, allowing it to flow into his movements, enhancing his speed and strength. Not bad, Naruto, Jiraiya encouraged, pushing him harder. Keep your form tight. Use that energy with every strike and counter. Naruto felt himself adapting. The world around him began to blur. His senses heightened as he danced around Jiraiya's attacks, his body reacting almost instinctively. He ducked under a high kick, pivoted, and countered with a punch of his own, infused with the energy he had learned to wield. Jiraiya smirked as he blocked the blow, but Naruto could see the surprise in his master's eyes. There you go. Now we're getting somewhere. Encouraged, Naruto continued to press forward. He combined his physical attacks with his jutsu, calling forth a quick shadow clone to help him create distractions. Shadow clone jutsu, he shouted, and in an instant, multiple copies of himself appeared around Jiraiya. Jiraiya chuckled, visibly impressed. Now that's more like it. Use your numbers to your advantage. The clones rushed at Jiraiya from all angles, and he began to retaliate. But Naruto was quick to adjust his strategy. With his original self at the forefront, he focused on channeling his energy into the clones as they attacked, creating a flurry of strikes that kept Jiraiya on his toes. Just as Naruto was feeling like he had the upper hand, Jiraiya smirked and unleashed a burst of his own chakra, knocking a few clones aside. You still need to be aware of your surroundings, Naruto. Don't get too focused. Feeling the pressure mount again, Naruto grounded himself. Right? He exclaimed. I can do this. As he re-established his focus, he felt the energy surging within him once more, a familiar warmth filling his core. Instead of panicking, he took a deep breath and centered himself, allowing the power to calm him. With renewed determination, he charged at Jiraiya again, weaving in and out of his clones as they launched coordinated attacks. He felt more alive than ever, the exhilaration of the fight igniting his spirit. Rasengan, he shouted again, his hands forming the spinning sphere of energy, but this time with greater control. As he raced toward Jiraiya, he merged with the clone technique, amplifying the attack's power. But he didn't lose focus on the fight itself. The moment felt electric, the energy surged through him, and he felt unstoppable. Here I come, Naruto declared, launching the enhanced Rasengan forward, with a flick of his wrist. Jiraiya countered, summoning a wall of water that absorbed the impact. The force of the attack caused a splash, drenching both of them in an instant. Good job, Naruto, Jiraiya shouted through the spray. You're improving. But remember to adapt. There's always a counter. Naruto laughed, the thrill of the battle coursing through him. I won't give up. I'll keep fighting. For the rest of the training session, they continued to push each other, each strike a testament to Naruto's growth. He felt the bond between them strengthening, each moment a reminder of how far he had come. He was no longer just an underdog, he was becoming a formidable shinobi. As the sun dipped low in the sky, Jiraiya finally called for a break, both of them panting and covered in dirt and sweat. You did well today, Naruto. You're adapting faster than I anticipated, Jiraiya said, wiping his brow. I just want to keep getting stronger. I have to be ready for anything. Naruto exclaimed, his eyes shining with determination. Jiraiya nodded, a proud smile gracing his lips. That's the spirit. Remember, though, this is just the beginning. You got the power of a Saiyan within you. But you have to find your own path. Don't let it overwhelm you. I won't. Naruto replied, feeling a surge of confidence. I'll become the strongest Hokage ever. As they gathered their things, Jiraiya looked contemplative. You know, there's an old saying. With great power comes great responsibility. If you're going to harness this strength, you need to be ready for the challenges it brings. Naruto nodded, absorbing Jiraiya's wisdom. I get it. I'll be responsible. I promise. They made their way back toward the village. The sun now setting, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. With each step, Naruto felt a growing sense of purpose. He wasn't just training for himself anymore. He was training for his friends, for the village, and for the future he envisioned. As they reached the outskirts, Naruto glanced back at the training grounds, a smile on his face. Thanks for today, pervy sage. I feel like I'm finally starting to understand this power. Jiraiya chuckled, shaking his head. Just remember, Naruto, power isn't everything. It's how you use it that counts. I will, Naruto replied earnestly, determination shining in his blue eyes. With the stars beginning to twinkle in the evening sky, Naruto felt a renewed sense of hope and strength. He was ready to embrace whatever lay ahead, knowing that he had the power of a Saiyan within him and a mentor by his side. Together, they would face the challenges that awaited them, and Naruto would rise to become the shinobi he was destined to be. As the moon rose high in the night sky, casting a silvery light over the hidden leaf village, Naruto lay in bed, reflecting on the day's training. The exhilaration of wielding newfound power pulsed through him, a sensation both thrilling and intimidating. He could still feel the surge of energy within him, waiting for the moment he would need it most. But even as he embraced this incredible strength, a nagging thought lingered at the back of his mind. How would he truly master this power? Would it change him? Would it pull him away from the bonds he had worked so hard to forge? Shaking his head, he tried to dispel his doubts. No, he thought. I won't let it change who I am. I'm going to be the best Hokage ever. With that resolve, Naruto closed his eyes, surrendering to the embrace of sleep. Images of battle and triumph filled his dreams, along with the faces of his friends and the village he loved. The next day morning light filtered through his window, waking him from a restless sleep. He rubbed the sleep from his eyes and quickly dressed, the anticipation of training burning within him. He couldn't wait to put his skills to the test again. After a quick breakfast, he dashed out the door, excitement propelling him toward the training grounds. The village was alive with activity, and as he greeted familiar faces, he could see their mixed expressions. Some were still wary of him, while others were beginning to recognize the determination in his eyes. When he arrived at the training grounds, he found Jiraiya waiting, arms crossed and a thoughtful expression on his face. You're on time today, Naruto. That's a good start. Of course. I want to get stronger, Naruto replied, his voice brimming with enthusiasm. Today, we're going to step things up. We need to test your limits and see just how far this power can take you, Jiraiya said, a glint of excitement in his eyes. Let's do it, Naruto shouted, clenching his fists in determination. All right. But first, I want you to clear your mind and focus, Jiraiya instructed. We're going to work on controlling that energy. I want you to channel it into your body without letting it explode. Naruto nodded, taking a deep breath. He closed his eyes, envisioning the power inside him, the wild energy waiting to be unleashed. He could feel it throbbing, vibrant and alive. As he focused, he felt the familiar warmth envelop him. But this time, he concentrated on control, trying to keep it steady. Gradually, the energy began to manifest as a faint aura around him. Jiraiya watched with keen interest, nodding approvingly. Good. Now, let's see if you can sustain it while performing some basic movements. Naruto opened his eyes, filled with determination. He began with simple exercises, jumps, kicks, and dodges, all while maintaining the energy. At first, it was challenging, his movements feeling clumsy as he struggled to synchronize the energy with his body. But he refused to give up. Focus, Naruto. Jiraiya encouraged. Let it flow through you. Feel it become part of you. With each movement, Naruto felt the power settling, the energy becoming more a part of his actions. He pushed through, feeling the rush of exhilaration as he began to adapt. His jumps became higher, his kicks more powerful, and he could sense the energy thrumming in harmony with his body. After several minutes, he stopped, panting but exhilarated. I think I'm getting it. Great job. Now let's move on to something a bit more complex, Jiraiya said, a mischievous grin spreading across his face. We're going to practice a new technique, an enhanced version of your shadow clone jutsu. This time, you'll infuse the clones with your energy. Sounds awesome. Let's do it. Naruto exclaimed, brimming with excitement. Jiraiya explained the process. You'll create your clones, but instead of just making them physically, you'll channel your energy into them. They should be able to access some of your strength. Alright? Shadow clone jutsu. Naruto shouted, creating a dozen clones, each appearing in a puff of smoke. He focused on the energy flowing through him, envisioning it transferring to the clones. Now, Jiraiya commanded. Infuse them. Naruto concentrated, feeling the energy ripple through him. With a shout, he focused on channeling that energy into his clones. A faint blue glow surrounded each one, and he could feel the connection strengthening. The clones moved in sync with him, their motions sharper and more precise. This is amazing. Naruto cheered, feeling the thrill of their enhanced abilities. Now, let's see what they can do. Jiraiya instructed. Have them attack me. Alright. Let's go, guys. Naruto shouted, directing his clones toward Jiraiya. The clones charged, each one moving with a newfound intensity, their strikes powered by Naruto's energy. Jiraiya was momentarily taken aback by the onslaught, but he quickly regained his composure, blocking and countering with expert precision. Naruto watched with a mix of pride and excitement as his clones fought. They were faster, stronger, and more coordinated than ever before. He could feel the energy flowing between them, enhancing their movements. Great job, Naruto. Jiraiya called, dodging an incoming attack. But remember, you need to maintain focus. Don't let the energy overwhelm you. Naruto nodded, grounding himself. I won't. As the battle continued, Naruto's clones began to lose their coordination, the energy becoming more chaotic. He felt the strain of trying to maintain control, and soon, a few clones began to dissipate. Focus. Focus. Jiraiya shouted, and Naruto took a deep breath, recentering himself. He visualized the energy settling into a steady flow, calming the chaos. Gradually, the remaining clones regained their composure, moving fluidly once again. Nice recovery. Jiraiya praised. Now let's see if you can synchronize your movements even more. Have the clones follow your lead. With renewed determination, Naruto concentrated, feeling the energy channeling through him. He directed the clones to mimic his movements, their synchronization improving as they attacked and defended in unison. Now this is impressive. Jiraiya exclaimed, a broad smile on his face. You're really starting to get the hang of it. Naruto beamed with pride, feeling the bond between him and his clones strengthen. They moved together like a well-oiled machine, their combined strength radiating with confidence. After several rounds of practice, Jiraiya finally called for a break, both of them panting from the intensity of their training. You've made great progress today, Naruto. I'm impressed with how quickly you're adapting to your power. Thanks, Pervy Sage. I feel stronger already. Naruto replied, his heart swelling with pride. Just remember, it's not just about strength. It's also about strategy, Jiraiya cautioned, his tone becoming serious. Power can attract attention, both good and bad. You need to be ready for any challenges that come your way. Naruto nodded, the weight of Jiraiya's words sinking in. I understand. I'll be ready. As they gathered their things, Jiraiya suddenly turned serious. There's something else we need to discuss. What is it? Naruto asked, sensing the shift in Jiraiya's demeanor. I've been hearing rumors of a group that's been moving through the land, searching for powerful shinobi, Jiraiya said, crossing his arms. They've been gathering intel on people with unique abilities. I'm worried that they might come after you. Who are they? Naruto asked, concern creeping into his voice. They're known as the Akatsuki, a dangerous organization that seeks to control the world through power. They may want to recruit you, or worse. Jiraiya explained, his expression grave. We need to be vigilant. I won't let them take me down. I'll fight back. Naruto declared, fists clenched in determination. Jiraiya placed a reassuring hand on Naruto's shoulder. I know you will. But you need to be prepared. We'll train harder and make sure you're ready for whatever comes our way. Yeah? Let's do it. Naruto replied, the fire of determination burning brightly in his chest. The challenge ahead as they made their way back to the village. Naruto felt a mixture of excitement and anxiety. The thought of facing a powerful organization like the Akatsuki sent shivers down his spine. But he was determined not to back down. With the power of Broly coursing through him, he felt capable of taking on any challenge. That night, as he lay in bed, he couldn't shake the feeling of foreboding. He knew he needed to be stronger, strong enough to protect his friends and the village. But could he harness this power without losing himself in the process? Would he be able to keep the bonds he cherished, even as he grew stronger? With those thoughts swirling in his mind, he drifted into a restless sleep, the image of a fierce battle with the Akatsuki flickering in his dreams. The road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but he was ready to face whatever came his way, knowing that he had the strength within him to rise above. Training for the future. The next few days passed in a blur of training and preparation. Naruto and Jiraiya pushed each other harder than ever, practicing techniques and strategies. They trained at dawn and often went late into the night, their shared determination palpable in the air. As Naruto continued to refine his abilities, he began to notice changes beyond just physical strength. The energy within him felt different, evolving as he grew more adept at controlling it. He could sense the raw power flowing like a river, his aura shimmering with a vibrant energy that felt almost alive. During one session, Naruto attempted a new technique, a combination of his Rasengan and the energy flow he had been mastering. Rasengan, sparking fury. He shouted, channeling the energy into a swirling ball that crackled with intensity. The blast erupted, sending shockwaves through the training grounds, leaving a massive crater in its wake. Jiraiya, standing off to the side, raised an eyebrow. Impressed. Not bad. Naruto, you're starting to find your own style. Thanks. Pervy sage. I'm just getting started. Naruto grinned, feeling the rush of exhilaration wash over him. A visit from an old friend one afternoon. As they finished a grueling training session, a familiar figure approached the training grounds. It was Sakura, her face lit up with excitement. Naruto. Jiraiya. I've been looking for you. Hey. Sakura. Naruto called, waving her over. What's up? I wanted to see how your training is going. I heard you've been making incredible progress, she exclaimed, her green eyes sparkling. It's going great. I've been learning to control this new power. Naruto replied, puffing out his chest proudly. New power? Sakura raised an eyebrow. Her curiosity piqued. What do you mean? Jiraiya stepped in. He's been channeling the energy of a Saiyan, kind of like a hidden power within him. It's quite remarkable. Really? Sakura's eyes widened in disbelief. A Saiyan? Like from that anime? Naruto laughed. Yeah. Kind of. I'm getting really strong. Sakura grinned, her expression turning serious. That's amazing. But you have to be careful. With that kind of strength, you'll attract attention, especially from the Akatsuki. I know. Jiraiya was just telling me about them, Naruto said, his voice filled with determination. I won't let them take me down. I believe in you, Naruto. You've always had a knack for surprising everyone, Sakura said, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. And if you ever need backup, I'm here for you. Thanks. Sakura. I appreciate it. Naruto replied, feeling a warm surge of camaraderie. With newfound determination, the three of them began discussing strategies, planning for the future, and how they could work together to protect their village. Naruto felt the weight of responsibility pressing upon him, but he also felt buoyed by the support of his friends. The calm before the storm as days turned into weeks. Naruto honed his abilities, his bonds with Sakura and Jiraiya strengthening. He felt ready to face whatever challenges awaited him. Yet, an unsettling feeling lingered in the back of his mind, a sense that the calm wouldn't last long. One evening, while training under the moonlight, Naruto felt a familiar energy surge within him, more potent than before. The power of Broly surged, making him feel invincible. Yet a part of him remembered Jiraiya's warning. With great power comes great responsibility. He closed his eyes, channeling that energy, grounding himself in the present moment. I won't lose sight of who I am, he whispered to himself. Just then, Jiraiya appeared, his expression serious. Naruto, it's time we took things to the next level. We can't afford to wait for the Akatsuki to make their move. What do you mean? Naruto asked, intrigued. We need to take the fight to them, gather our allies, and prepare for whatever they might throw at us, Jiraiya said, determination shining in his eyes. Naruto nodded, feeling the gravity of the situation settle over him. I'm ready, pervy sage. Let's do this. With the full weight of their shared mission ahead, Naruto felt the power within him resonating, a promise of strength and determination for the battles that awaited. He knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but with his friends by his side, he was ready to embrace the challenge. As the night deepened, Naruto stood tall, a warrior at the cusp of destiny, determined to protect his village and the bonds he cherished, ready to face the Akatsuki and whatever else the future held. The next morning, Naruto gathered with Jiraiya and Sakura to discuss their plan. The air buzzed with anticipation and urgency. We need to inform the others and unite our strengths, Naruto stated, his voice steady. If we're going to face the Akatsuki, we need every ally we can get. Right, Jiraiya replied, nodding in agreement. Let's start with Kakashi and the other Jonin. They'll need to know what we're up against. Sakura chimed in. I can reach out to Ino and Shikamaru. They can help spread the word and coordinate with the others. Sounds like a plan, Naruto said, his excitement building. I'll talk to Sasuke. He needs to be ready for this too. As they each set off on their missions, Naruto felt a sense of purpose swell within him. This was more than just training or gaining power. This was about protecting his home, his friends, and everything he held dear. Gathering the team after a busy day of gathering everyone, the trio reconvened at the training grounds with their allies. Kakashi, the ever-calm leader, stood at the forefront, flanked by Shikamaru, Ino, and the rest of Team 10. Thanks for coming, everyone, Naruto said, addressing the group. We've got a serious situation on our hands. Jiraiya has informed us about the Akatsuki's interest in powerful shinobi. We need to be prepared for a fight. Kakashi crossed his arms, his expression serious. What do we know about their movements? How can we anticipate their next steps? Jiraiya stepped forward, his demeanor serious. They've been spotted in various regions, gathering intel on those with unique abilities. They may target Naruto next, so we must remain vigilant. I won't let them take me or anyone else, Naruto asserted, the energy within him bubbling with resolve. I've been training hard, and I won't back down. Shikamaru leaned back against a tree, his brow furrowed in thought. It'll take strategic planning. We can't just rush in. The Akatsuki are dangerous, and they won't hesitate to use their full power against us. Ino nodded. We should use our strengths. I can gather intel through my connections, and we can coordinate our efforts to keep an eye on any suspicious activity. Agreed, Kakashi said, glancing around at the gathered friends. We'll split into teams. Each group will keep watch in different areas. If we can intercept them before they strike, we can minimize the danger. Preparing for battle with their plan set, Naruto felt a sense of urgency. They began strategizing how to approach their surveillance, deciding to rotate patrols every few days to cover more ground. As they dispersed to their respective assignments, Naruto found himself walking alongside Sasuke, who had just returned from his own training. You're getting stronger, Naruto. I can see it, Sasuke acknowledged, his eyes narrowing slightly. Thanks. I've been working hard. We're going to face the Akatsuki together, so I need to be ready, Naruto replied, his enthusiasm infectious. Sasuke grunted, his trademark stoicism still present. Just remember, it's not just about raw power. We need to be smart about this." Naruto nodded, understanding the weight of Sasuke's words. "Right? We'll work together. I know we can do this." As days turned into weeks, their preparations intensified. Each team monitored various locations, with Naruto often teaming up with Sakura and Kakashi. Naruto trained diligently, constantly refining his abilities while trying to manage the power of Broly without losing himself. One day, during a training session, Jiraiya appeared, an unusual urgency in his voice. "Naruto, I've got news. We've spotted one of the Akatsuki members in a nearby village. We need to act fast." First contact adrenaline surged through Naruto as he gathered his allies. "All right. Everyone. This is it. We have a chance to confront one of them before they can strike." Jiraiya laid out the plan. "We'll approach under cover of night. We don't know how many are with him, so stay alert. Our primary goal is to gather information. If we can subdue him without a full-on battle, that would be ideal." As they moved through the shadows, Naruto felt the energy inside him resonate, a throbbing reminder of the power he could unleash. His heart raced with anticipation and apprehension. When they reached the outskirts of the village, they found the Akatsuki member, a tall figure cloaked in shadows, his demeanor calm yet intimidating. "So, you've come to play," he said, his voice smooth and mocking. "But you're merely children in a world of adults." Naruto stepped forward, fists clenched. "We're not afraid of you. We're here to protect our village." The Akatsuki member chuckled, raising an eyebrow. "Protecting? How quaint. But you should know that your power means nothing to us. We've dealt with stronger." Kakashi stepped forward, eyes narrowed. "You underestimate us. We know more than you think." The tension in the air thickened as the Akatsuki member drew closer, a confident smirk on his face. "Then let's see what you've got." The clash of powers with a sudden burst. The battle commenced. Naruto surged forward, channeling the energy within him. "Rasengan!" he shouted, launching the swirling sphere at the Akatsuki member. The figure dodged effortlessly, a look of amusement on his face. "Is that all you've got?" Naruto gritted his teeth, feeling the power of Broly rising within him. "No. This is just the beginning." He unleashed the energy, transforming into a more powerful state, his aura flaring wildly. The Akatsuki member's expression shifted, curiosity peaking as he sensed the growing power. As Naruto launched a flurry of attacks, his clones joined the fray, each infused with his energy. They struck in unison, testing the limits of the Akatsuki member's defenses. "Impressive," the figure acknowledged, but his demeanor remained calm. "But your strength alone won't save you." With a flick of his wrist, the Akatsuki member summoned a series of explosive tags, sending them flying toward Naruto and his allies. "Watch out!" Kakashi shouted, dodging to the side. Naruto's instincts kicked in. "Everyone, split up!" he yelled, channeling his energy into a defensive stance. "I'll hold him off. Are you crazy?" Sakura shouted, but Naruto's determination was unwavering. "I won't let him hurt you. I can do this," he insisted, tapping into the power within him. The energy surged, igniting his resolve. With a roar, he summoned a massive wave of energy, dispersing the explosive tags in a brilliant display of power. The blast sent shockwaves through the area, momentarily disorienting the Akatsuki member. "Let's see how you handle this," Naruto yelled, charging forward with renewed vigor. He unleashed a combination of punches and energy blasts, overwhelming the enemy with his ferocity. The Akatsuki member, surprised by Naruto's strength, began to struggle against the onslaught. But just as victory seemed within reach, the figure regained his composure, a sinister smile spreading across his face. "You're stronger than I expected, but you're still a child in the grand scheme of things." He clapped his hands, summoning dark tendrils of energy that lashed out at Naruto. "Get back!" Jiraiya shouted, rushing in to protect Naruto. But the tendrils struck, sending both Jiraiya and Naruto sprawling. A lesson in unity as they struggled to rise. The Akatsuki member prepared to strike again, but he was suddenly met with the combined efforts of Kakashi and Sasuke. "Now, Naruto!" Kakashi called out, and Naruto sprang to his feet, feeling the power within him surge. "Let's end this," Naruto shouted, channeling all his energy into a final attack. Rasengan, sparking fury, the energy coalesced into a massive sphere of light, and with a fierce determination, Naruto launched it at the Akatsuki member. "This is for my village." The blast collided with the enemy, illuminating the night with a brilliant explosion. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath as the shockwave rippled through the air. When the dust settled, the Akatsuki member lay defeated, a look of disbelief on his face. You're stronger than I thought," he gasped, before disappearing in a swirl of smoke, retreating into the night. Aftermath. Panting and exhausted, Naruto and his allies gathered together. "We did it," Naruto shouted, his voice filled with exhilaration. "But at what cost?" Kakashi said, looking around at the damage. "We have to be more careful. This was only one member of the Akatsuki." Jiraiya nodded, concern etched on his face. "We've won this battle, but the war is far from over. They'll come back stronger." Sakura stepped forward, determination in her eyes. "We'll train harder. We won't let them win." Naruto felt a surge of pride for his friends. "Yeah? Together, we can take on anything." As the moon rose high in the sky, casting its gentle light over the village, Naruto felt a renewed sense of purpose. With the power of Broly within him and the unwavering support of his friends, he knew they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. The battle was just the beginning, and together, they would forge their destiny, stronger than ever. In the days that followed the skirmish with the Akatsuki member, the village felt the weight of the encounter hanging in the air. The sense of urgency drove Naruto and his allies to redouble their training efforts. As they gathered at the training grounds, a shared understanding lingered among them. They were on the brink of a larger conflict, one that would test their bonds and their strength. "Listen up, everyone," Naruto called out, his voice carrying over the murmurs of the group. "We need to step up our training if we're going to be ready for whatever the Akatsuki throws at us next. We can't afford to be caught off guard again." "Agreed," Kakashi replied, adjusting his mask. "We'll focus on enhancing our abilities and working together as a team. Communication and synergy will be key." As they set to work, Naruto couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement. He relished the chance to test his new power further, the energy inside him humming with potential. He could already feel the power of Broly evolving within him, waiting to be unleashed. Training sessions intensify each day brought new challenges. Naruto trained alongside Sakura, Jiraiya, and Sasuke, pushing himself to master his abilities. During one particularly grueling session, he focused on harnessing the energy of Broly in a controlled manner. "Okay, I'm going to try something different today," he said, his brows furrowing in concentration. "I want to see if I can combine my chakra with Broly's energy." "You got this, Naruto." Sakura cheered, her faith in him unwavering. Naruto closed his eyes, drawing from the depths of his power. He visualized the energy flowing through him, wrapping around his chakra like a protective cloak. "Here goes nothing," he shouted, channeling the energy into a swirling ball. Rasengan, sparking fury. This time, as he unleashed the attack, the sphere exploded with a brilliance that lit up the entire training ground. The power felt alive, crackling in the air as it tore through the landscape, leaving a deep crater in its wake. "Not bad," Jiraiya exclaimed, clapping his hands together. "You're getting the hang of it." Naruto, "Thanks, pervy sage. I think I can push it even further." Naruto beamed, the adrenaline coursing through him. "Just remember, power without control can be dangerous," Kakashi cautioned, his tone serious. "You need to learn to harness that strength effectively." Naruto nodded, the words resonating deep within him. He understood that the power he wielded was a double-edged sword, capable of both great good and great destruction. A surprise visitor one evening, while they wrapped up a particularly exhausting day of training, a familiar figure appeared on the horizon. "Hey, is that Guy-sensei?" Naruto squinted, shielding his eyes from the setting sun. Guy approached, his typical exuberance in full effect. "Youthful comrades, I heard you've been training hard. I couldn't resist the urge to see your progress." "Guy-sensei," Sakura greeted, a smile breaking across her face. We've been working on our strategies against the Akatsuki. Excellent. Then let us have a spar. Guy declared, his enthusiasm infectious. A friendly match will surely strengthen your bonds. Sure. I'll take you on. Naruto replied, his competitive spirit igniting. The two stepped into the training area. And the others gathered to watch. Guy was known for his exceptional taijutsu skills, and Naruto felt the thrill of challenge coursing through him. All right. Naruto. Show me what you've learned. Guy said, his body coiling with energy. Here I come. Naruto shouted, charging forward with newfound confidence. He unleashed a flurry of punches and kicks, tapping into the energy of Broly to enhance his speed and strength. Guy dodged effortlessly, his movements fluid and graceful. You've grown stronger. But can you keep up with my youthfulness? Naruto grinned, channeling more power as he launched into a spinning kick. Guy blocked it, but the impact sent shockwaves through the ground, causing the spectators to gasp. Impressive. Guy said, a gleam of admiration in his eyes. But let's see how you handle this. With a sudden burst of speed, Guy struck back, his punches swift and precise. Naruto found himself on the defensive, but he could feel the thrill of battle sparking his instincts. He dodged and weaved, tapping into the energy of Broly to enhance his reflexes. In a moment of clarity, Naruto remembered his training with Jiraiya and concentrated his energy, channeling it into a single attack. Rasengan, he shouted, launching it toward Guy. Guy was taken aback, his eyes widening. He jumped back just in time to avoid the blast, which exploded against the ground, sending dirt and debris flying. That was close. Guy laughed, a twinkle in his eye. You're truly evolving, Naruto. But don't forget, training is not just about strength. It's about heart. A heartfelt conversation after their sparring match. The group gathered around a small campfire, the atmosphere light with laughter and camaraderie. Naruto felt a warmth spread through him, realizing how much he cherished these moments with his friends. Hey, Guy, Naruto said, looking up at his sensei. What do you think makes a good shinobi? Guy considered for a moment. A good shinobi is defined by their determination, their will to protect those they love, and their ability to rise in the face of adversity. Strength is important, but it's your spirit that truly makes a difference. Naruto nodded, taking the words to heart. I get that. I want to protect everyone in the village and show them I can be strong. Not just because of my power but because I care about them. Exactly. Guy beamed. With that mindset, you're already a great shinobi. As they shared stories and laughter under the stars, Naruto felt the bond of friendship surrounding him. He knew they would face trials ahead, but in this moment, he felt an unwavering resolve, one that could only grow stronger with his friends by his side. The calm before the storm, however. As the days turned into weeks, whispers of the Akatsuki's movements grew louder. Reports of missing persons and strange occurrences spread throughout the land, raising concern among the shinobi. One afternoon, while training with Sakura, a messenger arrived breathlessly at their training ground. Naruto, Jiraiya, there's been an attack in the village. The Akatsuki are here. A chill ran down Naruto's spine as he felt the gravity of the situation. What? We have to warn everyone. Sakura's expression shifted to one of determination. Let's go, Naruto. We can't let them hurt anyone. Racing toward the village, the group felt a sense of urgency, their hearts pounding as they prepared for what lay ahead. The battle begins as they arrived at the village. Chaos reigned. Villagers were fleeing in panic, and the unmistakable presence of the Akatsuki loomed in the air. Naruto's resolve hardened as he spotted the cloaked figures amidst the destruction. Everyone, stay back, Jiraiya commanded, stepping forward with authority. We'll handle this. Right. Naruto yelled, his heart pounding in his chest. He felt the power of Broly surge within him, igniting his fighting spirit. Let's show them what we're made of. As they prepared to engage, Naruto felt the familiar energy inside him flare. He channeled it, feeling the adrenaline course through his veins. I won't let them take anyone else. With newfound determination, Naruto charged into battle, ready to protect his village and his friends. The confrontation with the Akatsuki would test everything he had trained for. But in this moment, he felt invincible, fueled by the bonds he cherished and the power he had yet to fully understand. The clash of destinies loomed on the horizon, and Naruto was ready to face it head-on. As Naruto sprinted toward the chaos, he could hear the sounds of battle echoing in his ears, cries of shock, the clash of weapons, and the rumble of destruction. His heart raced with adrenaline, urging him forward. He could feel Broly's power within him, a primal force waiting to be unleashed. "Stay together," Jiraiya shouted, leading the charge. "We'll take them on as a team." Naruto glanced back at Sakura and Sasuke, both of whom nodded in agreement. The trio was united, ready to protect their home at all costs. As they closed in on the first wave of Akatsuki members, Naruto could see their distinctive cloaks fluttering in the wind. "Let's go," Naruto shouted, determination flooding through him. The first opponent they faced was Deidara, the explosive artist known for his deadly clay creations. He stood amidst the chaos, a twisted smile on his face as he launched explosive clay bombs into the fray. "Look who we have here," Deidara laughed, his hands moving swiftly to mold another bomb. "You think you can stop my art? It's gonna blow you away?" Naruto clenched his fists, feeling the energy surging within him. "Not if I can help it. I'll show you what true power looks like. Let's work together." "Naruto," Sakura called out, readying her own attack. Naruto nodded, and together they charged at Deidara. He felt the energy building inside him, ready to explode into a powerful attack. "Rasengan," he shouted, molding the chakra into a swirling sphere. At the same moment, Sakura unleashed her cherry blossom technique, petals swirling around her in a dazzling display. Deidara smirked, and with a flick of his wrist, he sent a massive clay bird to intercept them. Too slow, but Naruto's instincts kicked in. Channeling Broly's power, he propelled himself forward, moving faster than he ever had before. In an instant, he was in front of the bird, his Rasengan glowing with newfound intensity. "Rasengan, sparking fury," he shouted, and the sphere detonated with a blinding light. The explosion engulfed the clay bird, shattering it into fragments that rained down like confetti. Deidara's expression shifted from amusement to shock. What?" he exclaimed, barely managing to evade the blast. Sakura took advantage of Deidara's momentary distraction, leaping into the air. "Now, Naruto." "Right," Naruto called back, feeling the bond of teamwork strengthen their resolve. He followed up with a barrage of punches, enhanced by the power of Broly. The force of each strike sent shockwaves through the air, rattling Deidara. Unleashing full power. "Enough of this," Deidara snarled, scrambling back. He pulled out a massive clay dragon, his ultimate creation. "This will end now." The dragon soared through the air, ready to unleash its devastating power. But Naruto wouldn't back down. He could feel the energy surging within him, urging him to push further. "Together," he shouted, his voice resonating with confidence. "We can take him down." Sakura nodded fiercely. "Let's do it." Naruto focused his energy, channeling the raw power of Broly. He felt a transformation begin to take place, a change deep within him. His hair began to shimmer, tinged with green as he tapped into the primal energy. "Super Saiyan, Broly style," he exclaimed, feeling an overwhelming surge of strength. He charged toward the dragon with renewed vigor, the world around him blurring as he propelled himself forward. "Rasen Shuriken," Naruto cried, crafting a swirling shuriken of chakra infused with Broly's energy. It tore through the air, leaving a trail of shimmering light. The clash was spectacular. The dragon and the Rasen Shuriken collided in a massive explosion that lit up the battlefield. Dust and debris flew everywhere, obscuring their view. As the smoke cleared, Naruto landed, panting heavily. He felt the weight of Broly's power coursing through him, but he couldn't let it overwhelm him. "Is that all you've got?" he taunted, grinning at Deidara. Deidara, now visibly shaken, gritted his teeth. "You'll regret that." The turning tide meanwhile, Jiraiya and Sasuke were engaged in their own battles against other Akatsuki members. Jiraiya faced Hidan, the immortal zealot who wielded a scythe, while Sasuke clashed with Kisame, the shark-like swordsman. Sasuke activated his Sharingan, his eyes narrowing as he read Kisami's movements. "You won't get away that easily," he declared, unleashing a flurry of shuriken. Kisame laughed, swinging his sword, Samahata, to deflect the projectiles effortlessly. "You're strong, but you're no match for the power of the 7 ninja swordsmen. Then let's see how you handle this," Sasuke shouted, his chakra flaring. "Chidori." He thrust his hand forward, and a powerful burst of lightning surged toward Kisame. Kisame, taken aback, struggled to dodge the attack but was caught by the edge of the lightning. "Gah!" he grunted, staggered but not defeated. Jiraiya, in the meantime, was facing Hidan's relentless onslaught. "You think you can scare me with that scythe?" he said, dodging Hidan's strikes with agility. "You're going to need more than that." Hidan's laughter echoed across the battlefield. "You'll regret underestimating me, old man." Joining forces as the battles raged on, Naruto felt a sudden rush of power from his friends. He could sense their determination, and it fueled his own. "Stay focused," Jiraiya yelled to his team. "Remember, we're in this together." In that moment, Naruto's eyes met Sasuke's, and they both understood. This was their chance to combine their powers. "Sasuke, let's do it," Naruto called out, his voice ringing with confidence. Sasuke nodded, activating his Sharingan fully. "All right, I'll cover you." Naruto drew in his chakra, feeling Broly's energy swirling within him. "I'm going to give it everything I've got." With that, he charged at Deidara again, summoning all his strength. "Rasen Shuriken, Broly's fury," he shouted, feeling the energy explode around him. Deidara, realizing he was outmatched, tried to escape, but Naruto was relentless. The Rasen Shuriken struck true, obliterating the Akatsuki members' defenses. The aftermath of battle as the dust settled, Naruto and his friends surveyed the battlefield. Deidara lay defeated, his clay creations crumbled around him. The team gathered, exchanging relieved smiles. "We did it," Naruto exclaimed, breathless from the intensity of the fight. Jiraiya nodded, a proud smile on his face. "Good work, everyone. But this is just the beginning. We need to be ready for the rest of the Akatsuki." Sasuke, still catching his breath, looked around. "They won't take us down easily. We need to keep training and grow stronger." "Agreed," Sakura added, determination in her voice. "Next time, we'll be even more prepared." Naruto felt the weight of their words. He understood that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges. But with the power of Broly within him and the support of his friends, he felt ready to face whatever came next. A new resolve as they regrouped. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the village. Naruto felt a sense of calm settle within him. The battle had tested their limits, but it had also strengthened their bonds. "Let's promise to keep training," Naruto said, looking at his friends with fierce determination. "We're going to protect this village and everyone we care about. Together," Sasuke affirmed, a rare smile breaking through his usually stoic demeanor. "Together," Sakura echoed, her eyes shining with resolve. With their hearts set on their goals, they knew they could face any challenge that lay ahead. Naruto felt the energy of Broly within him, not just as a source of power but as a reminder of the strength of friendship and the will to protect those they loved. And as they prepared for the battles to come, Naruto couldn't help but feel that they were destined for greatness. Together, as the sun dipped lower, the village of Konoha buzzed with activity. Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke gathered on the training grounds, ready to refine their skills and prepare for the battles ahead. The sense of camaraderie that had formed in the wake of their recent victory against Deidara fueled their determination. "Okay, everyone, let's take advantage of this time," Naruto said, enthusiasm radiating from him. "We need to improve our teamwork and push our limits." Sasuke adjusted his stance, a smirk forming on his lips. "You're right. If we're going to take on the Akatsuki, we need to be more than just strong individually. We have to work as one." "Exactly," Sakura agreed, her fists clenched with excitement. "Let's focus on our jutsu and make sure we can execute them perfectly together." Training together, the trio began their training with intense focus. Naruto led the group through a series of exercises, combining their signature techniques. They practiced synchronizing their moves, ensuring that their jutsu would complement one another in battle. Rasengan and Chidori. Naruto shouted, as he created a swirling sphere of chakra in his hand while Sasuke prepared his lightning-infused attack. Let's see if we can combine them. The two charged toward a training dummy, unleashing their attacks simultaneously. The combined force of the Rasengan and Chidori sent the dummy flying into pieces, sending shards of wood flying through the air. Nice. Sakura cheered, her eyes wide with admiration. That was incredible. Imagine if we did that against the Akatsuki. Let's keep practicing. Naruto exclaimed, a fire igniting in his belly. He could feel Broly's energy surging within him, enhancing his instincts and reflexes. I have more techniques I want to try out. New powers and techniques. As the sun began to set, Naruto felt the primal power of Broly pushing him to explore his capabilities further. He wanted to tap into the depths of this newfound strength, and he was eager to see how it would manifest in his jutsu. Hey, guys, he called out, an idea striking him. What if we worked on some new techniques that incorporate Broly's energy? I want to see how we can amplify our moves. Sounds good, Sasuke replied, curious about what Naruto had in mind. Okay, how about I try something new? Naruto proposed, a mischievous glint in his eyes. Let's see if I can channel Broly's energy to enhance my shadow clone jutsu. Sakura raised an eyebrow, intrigued. How would that work? I can use my chakra to create clones that are stronger and faster than usual. Naruto explained, brimming with excitement. Let's give it a shot. He focused, summoning his chakra while visualizing the immense energy within him. He concentrated on infusing his chakra with the essence of Broly's power, feeling it swirl and resonate in his core. Shadow clone jutsu. Naruto shouted, and in a flash of smoke, dozens of clones erupted around him. But this time, the clones didn't just look like Naruto. They radiated a powerful aura, their presence enhanced by Broly's energy. Each clone shimmered with a green tint, making them appear more formidable than ever. Wow! Sakura exclaimed, amazed. These clones look like they're charged with something. Let's see how strong they are. Sasuke challenged, as he prepared to test their limits. Naruto and his clones charged at Sasuke, who activated his Sharingan, ready to defend himself. The clones attacked with a combination of punches and kicks, each blow carrying the weight of Naruto's determination and the power of Broly. Sasuke, agile and focused, dodged the initial attacks but was quickly overwhelmed by the sheer number of clones. All right, I see how it is, he called out, a grin breaking across his face. Let's see if I can keep up. He summoned his lightning chakra, unleashing a powerful volley of shuriken that ricocheted off the clones, sending some of them dissipating into smoke. But others surged forward, refusing to back down. Let's go, clones, Naruto yelled, encouraging them. Keep pushing. You're all stronger now. Testing limits. As the training session progressed, Naruto began to feel the synergy between his original self and the clones. They moved in perfect unison, adapting to Sasuke's every move. Sasuke, realizing the effectiveness of their teamwork, felt invigorated. This is amazing. It's like they anticipate my moves, he said, now fully engaged in the battle. Sakura watched, impressed. You've really come a long way, Naruto. This could turn the tide against the Akatsuki. Feeling the adrenaline rush through him, Naruto decided to take it a step further. All right, clones, let's do a combined attack. Combined attack? Sasuke questioned, raising an eyebrow. Yeah. All of you focus your chakra into one big Rasengan, Naruto instructed, feeling the excitement swell. The clones gathered together, channeling their energy into a single massive Rasengan, larger than any Naruto had ever created. It swirled with energy, reflecting the colors of Broly's power. Now, let's go, Naruto shouted, pointing forward. The clones charged, the colossal Rasengan leading the way, ready to strike. Sasuke braced himself, watching as the giant Rasengan barreled toward him. I guess I have no choice. I'll counter with my strongest jutsu. As Naruto's attack collided with Sasuke's Chidori, the ensuing explosion shook the training ground, sending a wave of dust and debris into the air. reflection and resolve. Once the dust settled, the trio stood amidst the remnants of their training area, panting heavily but filled with exhilaration. That was incredible, Sakura exclaimed, beaming at Naruto. You've really harnessed Broly's power. I can't believe how strong those clones were. Sasuke added, wiping sweat from his brow. If we can pull that off against the Akatsuki, we'll have a real chance. Naruto, breathing heavily, felt a rush of pride swell in his chest. We can do this. If we keep pushing ourselves, we'll become unstoppable. As night fell, they gathered around a small campfire, sharing stories and laughter. The bonds they forged in battle only grew stronger in this moment of camaraderie. Naruto gazed up at the stars, reflecting on how far they had come together and the challenges that still lay ahead. Tomorrow, we'll train harder, he declared, determination burning in his eyes. We can't let the Akatsuki win. We have to protect Konoha and everyone we love. A shadow in the night as the fire crackled. An ominous feeling settled in the air. Unbeknownst to the trio, a figure lurked in the shadows nearby, observing their every move. The figure's eyes glinted with malice, and a smirk spread across their face. So, they've grown stronger. This should make things interesting. With that, the figure melted into the darkness, leaving no trace behind. The path ahead as dawn broke over Konoha. Naruto awoke with renewed energy, eager to continue their training. He felt Broly's power surging within him, an unyielding force ready to unleash. Today is a new day, he declared, stretching his arms wide. Let's get stronger. Sasuke and Sakura joined him, their expressions resolute. The trio prepared for another day of training, ready to hone their skills and strengthen their bond. Little did they know, the path ahead would be fraught with peril, but together, they would face whatever challenges awaited them. Naruto could feel it deep within him. The strength of friendship and the spirit of perseverance would guide them through the darkness. As they stepped into the light of the new day, the echoes of their laughter mingled with the promise of what was to come, a new adventure that would test their limits, forge their destinies, and solidify their legacy as protectors of Konoha. As the sun rose over the Hidden Leaf Village, Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke gathered in the training grounds. The morning air was crisp and invigorating, perfect for a day dedicated to honing their skills. All right, everyone, let's pick up where we left off yesterday, Naruto said, a fierce determination lighting up his blue eyes. Today, I want to see how far we can take my new clones. We need to push our limits even more. Sakura nodded eagerly, her fists clenched in excitement. I can't wait to see how much stronger your clones have become. This could give us a significant advantage in battle. Sasuke crossed his arms, a smirk playing on his lips. Let's not forget the importance of strategy. Strength alone won't guarantee victory against the Akatsuki. Right? Strategy and strength, Naruto replied, a spark of inspiration igniting in him. Let's combine both. The training plan. They spent the morning brainstorming how to effectively use Naruto's enhanced clones. The idea was to create various combinations of jutsu and tactics that would keep their opponents guessing and overwhelmed. Okay, let's start with a simple plan, Naruto said, pacing back and forth as he laid out their training regimen. I'll create a few clones to engage Sasuke in a one-on-one battle. Sakura, you can support me with healing jutsu if I get overwhelmed. Sasuke raised an eyebrow, intrigued. And how do you plan on using your clones strategically? Great question. Each clone will have a specific role. Some will focus on distracting you, while others will try to strike from unexpected angles. That way, we'll test both my offensive power and your defensive skills, Naruto explained, his excitement palpable. Sounds solid, Sasuke agreed, already strategizing in his mind. Let's see if you can keep up with me this time. The battle begins. As they prepared, Naruto closed his eyes, drawing on the immense power within him. He felt Broly's energy coursing through his veins, and he channeled it into his chakra. Shadow Clone Jutsu, he shouted, and within moments, dozens of clones appeared, each glowing with the vibrant green energy that signified Broly's influence. Let's go, Naruto shouted, charging forward with his clones, who followed his lead, spreading out to flank Sasuke. Sasuke activated his Sharingan, his expression focused. Bring it on, Naruto. The clones attacked in waves, some aiming to overwhelm him with sheer numbers while others sought to flank him from the sides. Sasuke dodged and weaved through their attacks, using his agility and precision to evade strikes while preparing his counterattacks. Impressive, he muttered, as he unleashed a barrage of shuriken, effortlessly taking out a few clones at a time. Tactics in motion meanwhile. Sakura remained vigilant, ready to provide support. She noticed that some clones were being overwhelmed and quickly activated her healing jutsu, sending bursts of chakra to revitalize them. Keep going, Naruto. You can do this, she shouted, encouraging him from the sidelines. Thanks, Sakura. Let's step it up, Naruto shouted back, grinning as he saw the newly revitalized clones charging back into the fray. Feeling a surge of energy, Naruto decided to take things to the next level. All right. Time for a new trick. Everyone, focus your chakra, he commanded. The clones quickly gathered around him, channeling their energy into one massive Rasengan. The technique swirled with immense power, pulsating as if it had a heartbeat of its own. Let's see how Sasuke handles this, Naruto yelled, unleashing the colossal Rasengan toward Sasuke. A tactical counter. Sasuke saw the incoming attack and instantly recognized the threat. I can't let that hit me. He activated his Chidori, charging forward to intercept the attack. As the two techniques collided, the explosion sent a shockwave through the training ground, shaking the very earth beneath them. The resulting dust cloud obscured visibility, and for a moment, all was silent. Did it work? Sakura asked, squinting through the dust. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the cloud, and as the dust settled, it revealed Sasuke standing tall, slightly bruised but grinning. That was a good attack, Naruto. You're improving. Thanks. But I'm not done yet, Naruto shouted, feeling the adrenaline coursing through him. Let's go again. Finding new strengths. The training continued, pushing each of them to their limits. They spent hours testing different jutsu combinations and exploring new strategies. With every clash and every counter, they grew stronger together, solidifying their bond as teammates. As the sun reached its zenith, Naruto took a moment to catch his breath. This is awesome. I can feel Broly's power growing stronger inside me. Just make sure you can control it, Sasuke cautioned, his expression serious. If you let that power overwhelm you, it could backfire. Naruto nodded, understanding the weight of Sasuke's words. I will. I'll master it. I have to. A new challenge as they wrapped up their training for the day. A sense of accomplishment filled the air. They were exhausted but exhilarated by the progress they had made. All right, let's call it a day, Sakura announced, stretching her arms above her head. We've done great work today. As they turned to head back to the village, a sudden rustling in the bushes caught their attention. They all tensed, instinctively shifting into a defensive posture. Who's there? Sasuke called out, activating his Sharingan once more. From the shadows stepped a figure cloaked in dark robes, their face hidden beneath a hood. Well, what do we have here? The figure taunted, their voice dripping with malice. A new threat? Who are you? Naruto demanded, stepping forward, his instincts flaring. The figure chuckled darkly, taking a step closer. I am but a messenger from the Akatsuki. Sakura's eyes widened. The Akatsuki? Indeed, the figure replied, drawing closer. I've come to test your strength and deliver a message. You've grown strong, Naruto Uzumaki, but you will not be able to protect your precious village for long. Naruto clenched his fists, fury igniting within him. You think you can intimidate me? I'll protect Konoha with everything I have. Oh, I believe you will try, the figure said with a smirk. But soon, you will learn the true meaning of despair. The Akatsuki is coming, and we will show you the futility of your struggle. Get out of here, Sasuke shouted, readying his Chidori. You're not welcome here. The figure simply laughed. A cold, chilling sound. Consider this a warning. The real battles are about to begin. Train hard, young shinobi. You'll need every ounce of strength you can muster. Facing the reality with a swift motion, the figure vanished into the shadows, leaving behind an oppressive silence. Did they really just threaten us? Sakura breathed, glancing at Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto's expression hardened, determination flooding his heart. They think they can scare us? We won't back down. We need to be ready, Sasuke said, his voice serious. We need to train harder than ever. Agreed, Naruto replied, feeling Broly's energy pulsating within him. We'll show them what we're made of. Preparing for battle as they made their way back to the village. The weight of the threat loomed heavy in the air. But amid the fear, there was an undeniable spark of hope. A belief in their strength and a resolve to protect their home. Naruto felt a sense of purpose growing inside him. With Broly's power alongside the unwavering support of his friends, he knew they could face whatever the Akatsuki had in store. Tomorrow, we train harder, Naruto declared, his voice echoing through the village. We'll become stronger together. And we'll protect Konoha. With that, the trio walked back, their spirits high despite the uncertainty that lay ahead. United in purpose and strength, they were ready to face whatever challenges awaited them in the looming battle against the Akatsuki. A shadow of a future as night fell over Konoha. The stars shimmered brightly, each one a beacon of hope. But somewhere in the darkness, the Akatsuki prepared for their next move, their eyes set on the Hidden Leaf Village and the growing strength of Naruto Uzumaki. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke would face it head-on. With every training session, every clash, and every moment shared, they were not just warriors, they were a family, bound by their determination to protect what they held dear. And as long as they stood together, they would not falter. The journey ahead would test their limits, but they were ready to embrace it, forging their destinies as guardians of peace in the world of shinobi. The next morning dawned clear and bright, casting golden rays over the Hidden Leaf Village. The streets were alive with activity, villagers going about their daily routines, unaware of the looming threat that the Akatsuki posed. Naruto, however, was all too aware. He awoke with a sense of urgency, his mind racing with thoughts of training and preparation. As he dressed, he could feel Broly's power thrumming within him, a force waiting to be unleashed. I've got to master this power, he muttered to himself. Determination set in his eyes. I can't let anyone down. He met up with Sakura and Sasuke at their usual training spot. Sakura was stretching, her muscles taut and ready for action, while Sasuke was leaning against a tree, arms crossed, his expression unreadable. Ready for another day of pushing our limits? Naruto called, a confident grin spreading across his face. Always, Sasuke replied, pushing off from the tree and stepping forward. But we need to focus. We can't afford to lose our edge with the Akatsuki on the horizon. Right. Sakura chimed in, her spirit unwavering. Let's make today count. New techniques. They spent the morning alternating between intense sparring sessions and strategizing. Naruto focused on perfecting his use of clones, pushing himself to create more at once while maintaining their quality. He wanted to create a battalion of clones that could execute complex jutsu in unison. Let's see how many I can make at once, he shouted, summoning his chakra and creating a wave of shadow clones that filled the training ground. Impressive, Sakura praised, watching the clones move in synchrony. Now, let's work on your coordination. How about a multi-directional attack? Good idea. Clones, listen up. Divide into groups and attack from all angles, Naruto commanded. The clones broke apart, some charging at Sasuke while others surrounded him from the flanks. Sasuke evaded, using his agility and Sharingan to predict their movements. He retaliated with a series of precise fireballs, targeting specific clones and allowing only a few to get close enough for a proper fight. Nice try, but you need to work on your timing, Sasuke called out, dodging and weaving through the clones. Use their movements to your advantage. Okay, let's switch it up, Naruto shouted. He concentrated and channeled more of Broly's energy into the clones, empowering them with raw strength. Sakura cheered them on, providing medical support to any clone that got damaged during the sparring. Remember, Naruto, don't forget to manage your chakra, she called. I know, Naruto said, frustration creeping in. I can handle it. The pressure mounts as the training continued. Naruto felt the pressure mounting inside him. Not just from the Akatsuki, but from his desire to grow stronger. He needed to control the power coursing through him, or it would control him. Let's try something different, he suggested, taking a step back. I want to test my transformation. Sasuke raised an eyebrow. Intrigued. You mean your Brawly transformation? That'll be a challenge. Exactly. I want to tap into that power. But I need to do it in a way that I can control, Naruto replied, his resolve firm. If I can harness it, I can become unstoppable. Just be careful, Sakura warned. We don't want you to lose control. I won't, Naruto declared, determination radiating from him. Taking a deep breath, he focused inward, channeling the energy of Brawly. His aura flared around him, a brilliant green light enveloping his form. The air vibrated with his power, and he felt the surge of energy crackling at his fingertips. Here we go, he shouted, pushing past his limits. A new form emerges as he concentrated. He felt the familiar sensation of transformation wash over him. His muscles tensed, his body growing stronger and more defined, and his hair began to shimmer with a golden hue, similar to the legendary Super Saiyan transformation. Whoa! Sakura gasped, staring wide-eyed as Naruto's form pulsed with energy. Sasuke straightened, a look of focus settling over his face. Let's see what you've got, Naruto. Let's test this out, Naruto shouted, charging forward with newfound speed and strength. He moved like a blur, the ground beneath him cracking as he propelled himself into action. Sasuke quickly dodged to the side, eyes wide with surprise. He's fast? Naruto aimed a punch at Sasuke. But Sasuke sidestepped, launching a counterattack with a swift kick. But Naruto was ready, using his enhanced reflexes to block the attack and retaliate with a flurry of strikes. You're holding back, Naruto taunted, his voice filled with excitement as he unleashed a barrage of punches. Sasuke grinned, pushing himself harder. I can keep up. Just don't get too cocky. Team dynamics. The fight intensified as they exchanged blows, the air crackling with energy. Each clash echoed through the training ground, drawing the attention of passing villagers. Look at them go, a villager remarked, watching the spectacle with awe. Do you think they'll be able to take on the Akatsuki? Another asked, anxiety creeping into their voice. Unbeknownst to them, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were honing their skills, preparing for the battles to come. The trio moved seamlessly together, Naruto's clones weaving through the battlefield, and Sasuke's tactical prowess guiding their every move. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the training ground, they stepped back to catch their breath. That was intense. Naruto panted, a wide grin on his face. I can feel the power growing stronger. You need to keep practicing, Sasuke advised, wiping the sweat from his brow. Control is key. If you can master that power, we'll have an advantage against the Akatsuki. Agreed, Sakura said, nodding. You're making incredible progress, Naruto. Nightfall and strategy. As night fell over the village, the trio sat together, strategizing for the upcoming battles. The stars twinkled overhead, and a calm breeze swept through the trees. Let's discuss our approach against the Akatsuki, Sasuke said, his voice serious. We need a solid plan. Naruto nodded, determination evident in his expression. What if we divide their members? If we can take them on one at a time, we'll stand a better chance. Good idea, Sakura agreed. We can set traps and create distractions to draw them into our territory. Sasuke considered their words. And we need to be prepared for their unique abilities. We can't underestimate them. Right? I can use my clones to gather intel, Naruto suggested. We'll know what we're up against before we engage. With their plan forming, they spent the evening discussing their strategies, solidifying their bond and determination. Naruto felt a sense of hope building within him, a belief that they could face any challenge together. The Akatsuki approaches. As the village settled into the quiet of night, the Akatsuki gathered in the shadows, their eyes fixed on the hidden leaf village. We've waited long enough, one member said, his voice low and menacing. It's time to make our move. Another figure stepped forward, cloaked in darkness. Let's see if they're as strong as the rumors suggest, We'll crush their spirits and take what we need." The air grew tense as the Akatsuki prepared for their attack, unaware of the strength and determination that Naruto and his friends were building. A new dawn. With the dawn of a new day, Naruto felt a sense of urgency pressing against him. They were ready to face the challenges ahead, united and strong. The journey to protect their village and friends had only just begun. But with Broly's power coursing through him and the unwavering support of Sakura and Sasuke, he felt invincible. "Let's go!" Naruto shouted, the sun rising behind them, casting a golden light over the village. "We're ready to show the Akatsuki what we're made of." Together, they stepped forward, ready to embrace whatever awaited them in the battles to come. The bonds they had forged and the power they had discovered would be the key to their survival as they faced the greatest threat they had ever known. And as they ventured into the unknown, one thing was clear. They were not just fighting for themselves but for each other, for their village, and for the future they all dreamed of. The legend of Naruto Uzumaki was about to unfold in ways no one could have ever imagined. The air crackled with energy as Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke made their way through the familiar streets of the Hidden Leaf Village, the sun casting a warm glow on the path ahead. Their destination was the Hokage Tower, where Tsunade awaited them with important information about the Akatsuki's movements. As they approached the tower, Naruto couldn't shake the feeling of anticipation mixed with dread. The power of Broly thrummed beneath his skin, a constant reminder of the strength he needed to harness to protect those he loved. "Do you think we're ready?" Sakura asked, glancing sideways at Naruto. Concern etched on her face. "We have to be," he replied, determination in his voice. "We're stronger than ever. And we'll make sure the village is safe." Sasuke remained silent, his expression serious as he considered their situation. He had always been the most tactical of the three, analyzing every potential threat with precision. The Hokage's briefing. They entered the Hokage's office, where Tsunade was poring over a stack of reports. Her brow furrowed as she looked up, taking in the sight of her most trusted team. "Good. You're here," she said, her voice authoritative. "I just received word that the Akatsuki is moving closer to our borders. We need to prepare for their inevitable attack." Naruto's heart raced. "What do we need to do?" "We need to gather information on their members and their abilities," Tsunade explained. "The more we know, the better prepared we will be." "I can use my clones to scout," Naruto suggested. "They can spread out and gather intel on their movements. We'll know exactly when and where they plan to strike." "That's a good start," Tsunade agreed, nodding thoughtfully. "But we also need to strengthen our defenses and ensure that the village is protected. Sakura, I want you to work with the medical team to prepare for any injuries. Sasuke, I'll need your strategic mind to plan our defenses." As Tsunade laid out her plan, Naruto felt a surge of confidence. They were a team, and together, they could face whatever challenges lay ahead. Gathering intelligence after the meeting, Naruto wasted no time. He activated his shadow clone jutsu, creating dozens of clones to fan out across the village and surrounding areas. "Okay, everyone, you know what to do. Gather intel on the Akatsuki and report back with anything you find," he instructed, the clones nodding and dispersing in a flurry of movement. With his clones scattered, Naruto felt a sense of relief wash over him. The thrill of action ignited a fire in his belly as he focused on the task ahead. Sakura and Sasuke began their preparations, with Sakura coordinating with the medical teams while Sasuke mapped out potential defense points around the village. Naruto took a moment to himself, tapping into Broly's power as he concentrated on enhancing his physical abilities and chakra control. The power within, feeling the familiar warmth of Broly's energy envelop him. He began to meditate, seeking to deepen his connection with the Saiyan warrior's essence. Memories of Broly's battles flickered through his mind, fueling his desire to grow stronger. "Focus, Naruto," he whispered to himself. "You can do this." As he delved deeper into his meditation, he felt the energy swell within him, bubbling to the surface. He envisioned himself in the midst of a battle, tapping into Broly's instincts and strength. With each breath, he felt the power surging through his veins, amplifying his abilities. "Let it flow," he murmured, allowing the energy to mix with his own. "You're not just a ninja. You're something greater." In that moment, he saw flashes of battles he had fought, his friends at his side, and the sacrifices they had made for one another. The bond they shared strengthened his resolve, and he emerged from his meditation with renewed vigor. Clones in action. After gathering his thoughts, Naruto released his clones, and they began reporting back with the information they had gathered. Many of them are heading towards the borders of the Land of Fire. One clone relayed, his expression serious. They seem to be split into groups, possibly to divide our defenses. Interesting, Sasuke replied. Considering the implications, we can set traps at key points to catch them off guard. Yeah. We can use my clones to create distractions while we take them down, Naruto exclaimed, excitement bubbling within him. Sakura nodded, her expression focused. We'll need to coordinate our efforts carefully. If we can manage to catch them one by one, we'll stand a better chance. Preparing for battle. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, the trio worked tirelessly, setting up traps and defenses throughout the village. Naruto created additional clones to assist in fortifying the perimeter, weaving intricate barriers and traps that would ensnare any intruders. Over here, he called to one of his clones, directing it to set a hidden explosive tag. We need to be ready for anything. With their plans in place, they gathered back at the Hokage Tower for a final briefing. Tsunade looked at them, pride evident in her eyes. You've done well. But remember, the Akatsuki is dangerous. Do not underestimate them. We won't, Naruto assured her, determination radiating from him. We'll protect the village at all costs. Nightfall and tension. As night fell, a heavy tension settled over the village. The streets were eerily quiet, a stark contrast to the bustling life that usually filled them. Naruto's heart raced as he stood at the edge of the village, looking out into the darkness. Do you think they'll come tonight? Sakura asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Maybe, Sasuke replied, his eyes scanning the shadows. But we're ready for them. Let's stay vigilant, Naruto said, clenching his fists. He could feel Broly's power thrumming within him, a constant reminder of what he was capable of. We won't let them take our home. The first encounter. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept through the village, and the atmosphere shifted. Naruto's instincts kicked in, and he felt the familiar chill of danger approaching. They're here, he warned, his voice low and tense. In an instant, shadows moved in the distance, and figures emerged from the dark, clad in the distinctive Akatsuki cloaks. A sense of dread settled in the pit of Naruto's stomach, but he refused to back down. Get ready, he shouted, rallying his teammates. We're not going to let them take anything from us. The Akatsuki members approached with a confidence that sent shivers down Naruto's spine. He could sense their power, and it was unlike anything he had faced before. Interesting, one of the members, a man with long, spiky hair and an intimidating presence, said, smirking as he observed the trio. You think you can protect this village? You're nothing but children. Don't underestimate us, Naruto shouted, stepping forward, his aura flaring to life. The energy of Broly surged within him, heightening his senses and amplifying his strength. We'll fight to the very end. The battle begins. With a battle cry, Naruto charged forward, propelled by the strength of Broly. He felt invincible as he launched himself at the nearest Akatsuki member, a surge of adrenaline coursing through him. The clash was explosive, Naruto's fist connecting with the enemy's jaw and sending him reeling. He quickly followed up with a flurry of punches, each one fueled by the raw power within him. Sasuke and Sakura moved in tandem, taking on other members of the Akatsuki. Sasuke's Sharingan flared to life as he expertly dodged and countered, while Sakura provided medical support, ready to heal any injuries they sustained. Stay focused, Sasuke called out, dodging a swift attack. Don't let them divide us. As Naruto fought, he felt the energy within him growing stronger, evolving as he unleashed more of Broly's power. His movements became faster, his strikes more powerful, and he began to lose himself in the thrill of battle. Embracing the power with every punch, Naruto tapped deeper into Broly's essence, his aura flaring around him like a blazing inferno. He could feel the transformation coursing through him, pushing him to new heights. Is this what you wanted? He shouted at the enemy, his voice filled with exhilaration. You think you can take our village? You're wrong. He charged at another Akatsuki member, channeling Brawly's strength into a devastating energy attack. Kamehameha! He shouted, unleashing a wave of energy that exploded upon impact, scattering the enemy in all directions. The shockwave of his attack reverberated through the battlefield, momentarily stunning the other members of the Akatsuki. Nice shot. Sakura cheered, her eyes wide with admiration. Keep it up, Naruto. Sasuke shouted, launching his own series of fireballs to distract their foes. Facing the unknown, but even as they fought back, Naruto couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. The Akatsuki were relentless, and he could sense that they were holding back. As the battle raged on, a powerful figure emerged from the shadows. Deidara, his long blonde hair blowing in the wind, his signature clay bombs ready at hand. Well, looks like I found some little pests to play with, he said with a sinister grin. Let's see how you handle my art. Art? Naruto shouted, narrowing his eyes. You think this is a game? With that, the battle intensified. The night air filled with the sounds of jutsu and explosions. Naruto could feel the stakes rising, the weight of responsibility pressing down on him as he fought to protect everything he held dear. In the depths of the fight, as Brawly's power coursed through him, he realized that this was more than just a battle. It was a test of everything he had become. A new dawn. As dawn approached, the first rays of light began to pierce through the darkness, illuminating the battlefield and the faces of the fighters. The fight was far from over, but with each moment, Naruto felt himself growing stronger, both in spirit and in power. Let's show them what we're made of, he yelled, rallying his friends. Together, we can win this. With renewed determination, they charged into the fray, ready to face whatever challenges the Akatsuki had in store. As the first light of dawn began to illuminate the battlefield, Naruto and his friends fought fiercely against the encroaching Akatsuki members. The urgency of their situation surged through Naruto, propelling him forward as he harnessed Brawly's immense power. With each blow, he felt stronger, more in control of the energy that now coursed through him like wildfire. A show of strength, is that all you've got? Deidara taunted, unleashing a swarm of clay birds that swooped towards Naruto and his friends. Don't underestimate us, Naruto shouted back, drawing on Brawly's energy to enhance his speed. He dashed forward, weaving between the clay constructs with remarkable agility. He then leapt into the air, focusing his chakra as he prepared to counter. Rasengan! Naruto shouted, his voice ringing out with fierce determination. The swirling ball of chakra materialized in his hand, glowing with an intense blue light as he hurled it at the nearest clay bird, which exploded into shards of clay and smoke. The explosion caused Deidara to narrow his eyes, frustration creeping into his demeanor. You're a pesky little brat, aren't you? Let's see how you handle my ultimate art. He formed a series of intricate hand signs, and Naruto felt a wave of dread wash over him as he realized what was coming. The ground beneath them began to tremble, and from Deidara's hands, an enormous clay figure took shape, a dragon made of explosive clay that loomed menacingly over the battlefield. A fiery battle, watch out! Sasuke yelled, his Sharingan activated as he observed the massive creature forming. We need to take it down before it can unleash its attacks. Leave it to me, Naruto shouted, focusing his energy as Brawly's power surged within him. He could feel the immense strength at his fingertips, and with a roar, he charged at the dragon. Wait, Naruto! Sakura cried, her voice filled with concern. It's too dangerous. But Naruto was already in motion, propelled by the overwhelming energy within him. I can do this, he yelled, leaping into the air, his fists glowing with energy as he aimed for the dragon's head. Rasen Shuriken, he cried, and a massive spiraling shuriken formed in his hands, powered by Brawly's strength. He hurled it at the dragon, the attack piercing through the air with terrifying speed. The Rasen Shuriken collided with the dragon's maw just as it roared to unleash its explosive power. The explosion lit up the dawn sky, casting a brilliant light over the battlefield as debris rained down, unleashing Brawly's power in the midst of the chaos. Naruto felt an intoxicating rush. The energy from Brawly surged within him, merging with his chakra in a way that felt exhilarating. He could feel the power amplifying, pushing him to the brink of his limits. "Brawly, show me your strength," he shouted, tapping deeper into the Saiyan's essence. As the smoke cleared, Naruto emerged from the explosion, energy swirling around him like a storm. The dragon was severely damaged, but Deidara stood defiantly, unyielding in the face of defeat. "You think you can beat me so easily?" he scoffed, a fierce light gleaming in his eyes. "My art will never be defeated," Naruto grinned, feeling the power within him heighten. "You're about to find out just how wrong you are." With newfound confidence, he launched himself at Deidara, fists glowing with a fierce energy. The Akatsuki member prepared to defend himself, but Naruto was faster, delivering a rapid series of punches that sent Deidara reeling. "Brawly's strength is mine now," Naruto shouted, each blow resonating with power. He felt invincible as he continued to press the attack, unleashing wave after wave of energy-infused strikes. Sasuke joins the fray. Sasuke seized the opportunity, launching his own offensive. "Now's our chance," he called out, weaving through the battlefield with precision as he drew his sword. "I'll keep him distracted," he shouted, dashing forward to intercept Deidara's next move. With a flick of his wrist, Sasuke activated his Chidori, its blue lightning crackling around his hand as he thrust it forward, aiming for Deidara's chest. "Now, Sakura," he shouted, and she nodded, rushing forward with her healing chakra ready to support her teammates. The trio worked seamlessly together, each one playing off the other's strengths. As Sasuke engaged Deidara in a fierce sword fight, Naruto prepared to unleash a devastating energy attack. The climactic moment, Naruto drew upon Brawly's power, feeling the energy swell within him, amplifying his jutsu to its maximum potential. "This ends now," he shouted, clenching his fists as a brilliant aura enveloped him. "Spirit Bomb," he roared, gathering energy from the surroundings as he channeled Brawly's might. A massive sphere of light began to form above his head, crackling with energy as he called upon the very essence of nature around him. Sasuke took advantage of the opening. "Keep him busy," he yelled, launching a barrage of shuriken and fire jutsu at Deidara to maintain the pressure. "Don't you dare underestimate me," Deidara shouted, struggling against Sasuke's relentless assault. "My art is eternal." But Naruto was determined. He could feel Brawly's spirit within him, urging him on. "I won't let you destroy my home," he cried, his voice echoing with power. As the spirit bomb reached its peak, Naruto hurled it toward Deidara, the sphere glowing brighter with every moment. "Say goodbye to your art," Naruto yelled, and with a mighty roar, he released the spirit bomb. The final showdown. The blast soared through the air, illuminating the entire battlefield as it neared Deidara. The Akatsuki members' eyes widened in horror, realizing the gravity of Naruto's attack. "Wait! No!" he screamed, attempting to evade the powerful energy. But it was too late. The spirit bomb connected, exploding with an overwhelming force that shattered the ground beneath them and sent shockwaves through the area. The explosion enveloped Deidara, and a blinding light filled the dawn sky, a testament to Naruto's newfound strength. As the dust settled, the battlefield lay in silence, the remnants of the explosion still crackling with energy. Aftermath and reflection. Panting heavily, Naruto dropped to his knees, the energy from the battle draining from him as he stared at the smoke rising from where Deidara had stood. The battle was not over, but they had made a significant statement. "Sasuke, Sakura, did we win?" he gasped, his heart racing with adrenaline and exhaustion. Sasuke stepped beside him, wiping sweat from his brow. "For now, yes. But we need to stay alert. There will be more." Sakura knelt beside Naruto, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "You were incredible, Naruto. You tapped into that power like a true warrior." Naruto smiled weakly, still feeling the lingering effects of Brawly's energy coursing through him. "I couldn't have done it without you guys. We're a team." As the sun began to rise, casting a golden hue over the battlefield, Naruto felt a renewed sense of purpose. He had embraced the power within him, and with his friends by his side, he was ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. But deep down, he understood that the true test was still to come. The Akatsuki were far from defeated, and with every battle, the stakes would only grow higher. The path ahead. Let's regroup and prepare for the next wave, Naruto said, pushing himself to stand. I can feel it, they won't stop until they get what they want. As the team made their way back to the village, Naruto couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of something much larger. Broly's power had awakened within him. But he knew that mastering it would take time, effort, and most importantly, teamwork. With determination burning in his heart, Naruto vowed to protect his village, his friends, and the world from the impending darkness that loomed on the horizon. Together, they would rise to the challenge. As they made their way back to the village, the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting warm rays over the remnants of the battle. Naruto felt the lingering adrenaline from the fight, but there was also a weight of responsibility settling upon his shoulders. He glanced at Sasuke and Sakura, both looking weary but resolute, and he knew they were all thinking the same thing. Regrouping upon reaching the village, they were met with concerned faces. Villagers who had heard the distant echoes of the battle stared wide-eyed at the trio, fear and awe mingling in their expressions. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura. An elder shouted, rushing towards them. What happened? Is it safe? Naruto quickly raised his hands, signaling for calm. We took care of it. The Akatsuki member won't bother us for a while. His smile was bright, but the exhaustion in his eyes revealed the truth. Good job. But we need to be prepared for anything, the elder replied, a serious tone creeping into his voice. We've heard whispers that more of them are on their way. Naruto nodded, determination surging through him. Then we'll train harder. We can't let them threaten our home. Sasuke stepped forward, his expression unreadable as he addressed the villagers. We need to gather information. If there are more Akatsuki members coming, we need to know where and when. Right. Sakura agreed, her green eyes glinting with determination. Let's talk to Shikamaru. He'll know how to strategize. The three quickly split off from the crowd, moving towards the center of the village where the Hokage's office stood. As they walked, Naruto felt the weight of Broly's power within him, simmering just below the surface. A meeting of minds inside the Hokage office. They found Shikamaru already in a heated discussion with Kakashi. The moment they entered, all eyes turned to them. Kakashi-sensei. Shikamaru. Naruto greeted, eager to share the details of their encounter. Kakashi looked relieved. You made it back in one piece. I was worried. Sasuke crossed his arms, his demeanor serious. We fought Deidara. He's a formidable opponent, but we managed to defeat him. Shikamaru raised an eyebrow, a calculating look crossing his face. Defeated one of them. Impressive. But we need to strategize. If the Akatsuki is mobilizing, they won't come in small numbers. Right. Naruto agreed, feeling the urgency of the moment. We need to gather everyone, train together. We have to be ready for anything. Kakashi nodded, glancing at the map spread across the table. I'll send out messengers to gather the others. We'll need everyone's strengths. As they discussed plans, Naruto's mind began to wander. He recalled the power he had felt during the fight. The way Broly's strength surged through him like an unstoppable wave. It was exhilarating, but also frightening. Mastering Broly's power. Hey, do you think I could learn to control that power better? Naruto suddenly asked, breaking the flow of conversation. I mean, if I can harness it, I could be stronger, right? Shikamaru looked thoughtful. If you can master that energy, it could make a significant difference. But it won't be easy. You'll have to train harder than ever. Kakashi's gaze sharpened as he leaned closer. It's important that you understand the risks too. Broly's power is immense, and if you lose control, it could lead to destruction. Not just for your enemies but for your friends in the village. Naruto nodded solemnly, taking the warning to heart. I get it. I'll find a way to control it. I won't let it control me. Sasuke smirked, a glimmer of confidence in his eyes. If you need a training partner, I'll help. I've been working on my own abilities too. Count me in. Sakura chimed in, her enthusiasm infectious. Together, we'll make sure we're ready for whatever comes our way. Training begins with their minds set on training. The trio gathered at the training grounds, where the sun hung high in the sky, casting long shadows on the ground. Okay. Let's start by seeing what you can do with Broly's power. Sasuke suggested, stretching as he prepared for the first round of practice. Naruto focused, closing his eyes for a moment to summon the energy within him. He could feel it bubbling beneath the surface, a latent force ready to erupt. As he opened his eyes, a fiery determination ignited within them. "I'll show you," he shouted, and with a burst of energy, he transformed, the aura of power surrounding him in a brilliant green and gold light. He felt the weight of the transformation, the raw energy of Broly merging with his own chakra. "Here I come." He charged at a nearby tree, throwing a powerful punch that shattered the trunk with a resounding crack. The ground trembled beneath his feet, and he felt the exhilaration of raw power surging through him. "Not bad, but you need to control it better," Sasuke said, dodging to the side to avoid the debris flying from the impact. "Focus, Naruto." Naruto nodded, taking a deep breath as he refocused his energy. He concentrated on Broly's strength but also on his own techniques, the jutsu that had helped him throughout his journey. Embracing the challenge with each strike, he worked to find a balance, a way to merge his own techniques with the overwhelming power he now possessed. He began to integrate Rasengan with his new abilities, experimenting with different forms and energies, pushing his limits. "Try combining your jutsu with your new strength," Sakura called out, watching intently. "You can create something new." Naruto's eyes lit up with inspiration. "You're right. Let's do this." He began to channel his chakra, envisioning a new form. Rasen Shuriken, he created a swirling sphere of energy, amplifying it with Broly's power. As he threw it, the energy surged forward, brighter than ever before. The sphere struck a cluster of boulders, creating a massive explosion that sent fragments flying. "Wow!" Sasuke exclaimed, wide-eyed. "That was amazing." Naruto grinned, the rush of victory surging through him. "I can feel it. This power is incredible." A friendly rivalry as the training session continued. Naruto and Sasuke pushed each other, their friendly rivalry driving them to new heights. They tested their skills against one another, each one determined to come out on top. "Come on, Naruto. You can do better than that," Sasuke taunted, dodging Naruto's latest attack with agility. Naruto laughed, his spirit unwavering. "You're going down, Sasuke." As they continued to spar, Sakura watched, both impressed and concerned. "You two need to be careful. We don't want anyone getting hurt." But Naruto and Sasuke were in the zone, their competitive nature pushing them further. As the day wore on, they grew more and more exhausted, but neither was willing to back down. A new alliance when the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. The trio finally called a halt to their training. Breathing heavily, they gathered around a nearby tree, fatigue settling into their bones. "Maybe we should take a break," Sakura suggested, fanning herself. "We can pick this up again tomorrow." "Yeah. But we need to keep pushing ourselves," Naruto said, wiping sweat from his brow. "If we want to be ready for the Akatsuki, we can't afford to lose focus." Sasuke nodded, looking thoughtful. "We need a strategy too. We can't just rely on brute strength alone." Suddenly, a rustle in the bushes caught their attention, and they turned to see Hinata approaching. Her eyes widened as she saw the trio together. "Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to see how you were all doing." "We're training," Naruto exclaimed, his enthusiasm infectious. "You should join us. We can work together." Hinata smiled, her cheeks flushed as she hesitated. I'm not sure if I'm strong enough." "You are," Sakura insisted, stepping forward. "You have your own unique strengths. We need everyone working together to face the Akatsuki." Hinata looked uncertain, but the determination in her friend's eyes gave her courage. "Okay. I'll give it a try." The strength of friendship as they all gathered together. Naruto felt a sense of unity forming among them. The bonds they shared, their determination to protect one another and their village, gave him strength. With their group growing, they formed a circle, each one sharing ideas and strategies, working together to become stronger. Naruto felt the lingering power of Broly within him, a force that was now intertwined with the spirit of friendship and teamwork. As the last light of day faded into twilight, Naruto realized that this was just the beginning. He had embraced the strength of Broly, But it was the bonds he formed with his friends that would help him truly master that power. The Akatsuki were coming, and he was ready to face them. Not just with raw strength but with the strength of those who stood beside him. Looking ahead in the days to come, they would train harder, push their limits, and prepare for the challenges that lay ahead. But for now, as they shared laughter and camaraderie, Naruto knew that whatever the future held, they would face it together. The journey was far from over. But as he looked at his friends, he felt a sense of hope. They would fight for their dreams, their village, and each other. And that was the greatest power of all. As the days turned into weeks, Naruto and his friends threw themselves into training. The atmosphere in the village buzzed with a mix of excitement and tension. With every new day, the threat of the Akatsuki loomed closer, and the urgency to become stronger pushed everyone to their limits. A new routine. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and Hinata established a rigorous training routine. Every morning, they would meet before dawn at the training grounds, where the first light of day cast a golden hue over the landscape. They spent hours sparring, focusing on perfecting their techniques and enhancing their individual skills. Naruto's mornings were particularly intense. He would start by channeling Broly's power, pushing himself to transform into his most powerful state. As the golden-green aura enveloped him, he could feel the energy coursing through his veins, igniting his body with raw strength. With every punch and kick, he tried to fuse his jutsu with the overwhelming force that Broly's power provided. "Don't hold back, Naruto," Sasuke called, his voice steady as he dodged another of Naruto's energy-infused strikes. "If you want to master that strength, you have to embrace it fully." "I'm trying," Naruto shouted back, determination blazing in his eyes. "But it feels like a storm inside me. I don't want to lose control." Sakura watched with admiration as Naruto's aura flared. She knew the weight of the power he carried and the responsibility that came with it. "You can do this, Naruto. Just focus on what you want to achieve." Hinata cheered from the sidelines, her quiet encouragement adding to their camaraderie. "You've come so far already, Naruto. I believe in you." Training together after an intense sparring session, they would often gather around a small fire pit to discuss their progress and strategies. Sasuke shared his insights on Sharingan techniques, while Sakura focused on healing jutsu and enhancing their chakra control. "Let's not forget about teamwork," Sakura emphasized one day as they sat together, her gaze serious. "If we can synchronize our abilities, we'll be much stronger in battle. We need to anticipate each other's moves." "Right," Naruto said, energized by her words. "We should practice some combo techniques. Imagine how powerful we could be." Sasuke raised an eyebrow, a smirk creeping onto his face. "You mean, if you can control that power of yours long enough to execute the plan?" Naruto shot him a glare. But there was no malice in Sasuke's tone. They thrived on this friendly rivalry, each pushing the other to new heights. With that in mind, they began working on combination attacks, blending their jutsu with Naruto's burgeoning strength. They experimented with new forms of Rasengan that incorporated Sasuke's lightning release and Sakura's healing energy, aiming to create attacks that could overwhelm their enemies while providing support to each other. Emerging challenges as they trained, they also faced new challenges. The training grounds became a battlefield, with sparring sessions turning into intense duels as their powers grew. One afternoon, while the sun hung high in the sky, they were midway through a rigorous training session when a familiar figure appeared in the distance. It was Kakashi, a look of seriousness etched across his face. "Hey, everyone," he called out, waving as he approached. "I have news." The group paused, exchanging glances filled with curiosity and concern. "What is it, Kakashi-sensei?" Naruto asked, his heart racing with anticipation. "There's been a disturbance near the border of the village," Kakashi said, his tone somber. "It seems the Akatsuki are on the move, and they're getting closer." "Closer?" Hinata echoed, her brow furrowing with worry. "Yes. I want all of you to be prepared. I'm sending word to the other villages to bolster our defenses. We need to be ready for anything," Kakashi replied, looking each of them in the eye. Naruto felt a surge of determination. "Then we'll train harder. We won't let them take our village." Sasuke nodded, a fierce look in his eyes. "Let's step up our training. If they think they can come here and intimidate us, they're in for a surprise. The pressure builds over the next few days. The atmosphere in the village grew tense. Villagers whispered about the Akatsuki and their terrifying reputation. And Naruto could sense the fear rippling through the community. This only fueled his resolve. They continued their training, pushing themselves to exhaustion. Naruto focused more on controlling Broly's power, practicing transformations and mastering the flow of energy that felt so foreign yet exhilarating. During one training session, he transformed into his Super Saiyan form, feeling the rush of energy surging through him. His aura blazed brightly, a swirling mix of gold and green, and he threw punches into the air, each hit reverberating with immense power. "See? This is what I mean," Sasuke exclaimed, dodging out of the way. "You've got to channel that energy, not just unleash it." Naruto nodded, sweat dripping down his forehead as he concentrated. "I can feel it. I just need to focus on controlling it better." Sakura joined in, her voice encouraging. "Let's try again. You can do this, Naruto. Just believe in yourself." Strengthening bonds as the days wore on, the group became stronger, both in skills and as friends. They trained together, laughed together, and faced their fears together. Naruto felt a profound connection to each of them, a bond that had grown deeper with every challenge they faced. One evening, after an intense training session, they gathered under the stars. The night was quiet, the only sounds being the distant chirping of crickets and the crackling of their campfire. "Do you think we'll really be able to stop the Akatsuki?" Hinata asked softly, her voice barely above a whisper. Naruto looked at her, determination in his eyes. "We have to. I won't let them take anyone from us. I'll fight with everything I have." Sasuke nodded, a rare smile gracing his lips. "We're stronger together. We won't fall apart. I promise." Sakura beamed at her friends, feeling the warmth of their camaraderie. "We can do this. As long as we trust each other, we can overcome anything." The calm before the storm as the final days of training approached. The village began to prepare for the worst. The villagers set up defenses, fortifying their homes and ensuring that everyone was ready in case of an attack. Naruto felt the weight of responsibility heavy on his shoulders. He was determined to protect not just his friends but everyone he held dear. One afternoon, as they trained, Naruto decided to push himself further. He focused on harnessing Broly's power and finding a way to balance it with his own chakra. He wanted to create a jutsu that combined their strengths, something unique that could surprise their enemies. "Let's see what I can come up with," he muttered to himself as he concentrated. He began to channel both chakra and the Saiyan energy within him, feeling them intertwine. The air crackled with energy as he formed a sphere in his palm, mixing elements of Rasengan with Broly's explosive ki. With a fierce yell, he hurled the energy sphere towards a distant boulder, and it exploded on impact, sending shockwaves through the ground. The brilliance of the blast illuminated the surroundings, and Naruto stood in awe of what he had created. "That was incredible," Sakura exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement. "Nice work, Naruto," Sasuke added, clapping him on the back. "You're really getting the hang of it." A new level of power with each passing day. Naruto felt more confident in his abilities. He trained harder, determined to master the power that had been bestowed upon him. The bond with his friends fueled his ambition, and together, they became a force to be reckoned with. As they stood on the brink of a battle that could change everything, Naruto knew that they were ready. The village was stronger, and they had forged their friendship into a weapon that could withstand any threat. But as the days passed, the tension in the air grew thicker. Rumors of Akatsuki members scouting the village spread, and the urgency to prepare became more palpable. The moment of truth one evening, as they wrapped up their training, Kakashi gathered them again. His expression was grave, the atmosphere heavy with unspoken words. "Listen up, everyone," Kakashi began, drawing their attention. "We've received word that the Akatsuki will be making their moves soon. We need to be ready for a full-on assault." The group tensed at the news, adrenaline coursing through their veins. "Prepare yourselves," Kakashi continued, his voice steady. "We'll meet at the village's outskirts to form a defensive line. Trust in your training, and remember that you have each other's backs." Naruto felt a surge of determination. We won't let them take anything from us. We'll fight together. As they nodded in agreement, Naruto knew that the battle ahead would be their greatest challenge yet. With Broly's power coursing through him and the support of his friends, he was ready to face whatever came their way. With the setting sun casting long shadows behind them, the group prepared for the fight of their lives, their hearts filled with resolve and courage. Together, they would stand strong against the darkness, ready to defend their home and protect each other at all costs. As night fell over the Hidden Leaf Village, a blanket of darkness enveloped the land, but Naruto's spirit shone brighter than ever. He gathered with his friends at the village's outskirts, the moon illuminating their determined faces. The cool night air buzzed with tension. But Naruto could feel the strength in their unity, a warmth that dispelled the chill of uncertainty. "We've trained hard for this moment," Naruto said, addressing his comrades as they stood in a circle, their eyes reflecting a mixture of excitement and fear. "I know we can do this together. No matter what happens, we stick to the plan and protect our home." Sasuke nodded, his expression serious. "We'll need to focus on our roles. Communication is key. If we work as one, we can outsmart them." Sakura added, "And we need to protect those who can't fight. We'll have to ensure that the villagers are safe and sound." Hinata took a deep breath, her voice steady despite the tension. "We'll be there for each other. We won't let fear take over." With their resolve strengthened, the group broke the huddle and moved to their assigned positions. Naruto felt a surge of energy flow through him as he prepared to tap into Broly's might. He could feel the aura building around him, a radiant gold-green glow that mirrored the strength of his spirit. The gathering storm as they waited in silence. The air felt electric, anticipation thickening like fog. The sounds of the village faded into the background, and Naruto found himself lost in thought, replaying the training sessions and the bonds he had forged with his friends. "Stay focused, Naruto," he reminded himself, shaking off the distractions. "You have to control this power." The night stretched on, and as the clock ticked toward midnight, a distant rumble shook the ground. The unmistakable sound of footsteps echoed through the forest, sending a shiver down Naruto's spine. "Get ready." Kakashi's voice rang out as he stepped forward, his presence commanding. "They're here." The assault begins. Dark figures emerged from the tree line, their silhouettes menacing against the moonlight. Naruto's heart raced as he recognized the cloaked members of the Akatsuki, each one radiating a chilling aura. "Looks like we don't have much time," Naruto whispered, adrenaline pumping through his veins. "We'll hold the line and protect the village." The Akatsuki approached, their faces hidden beneath hoods, but their presence was palpable. Pain, the leader of the Akatsuki, stepped forward, his eyes piercing and filled with malice. "You think you can stop us? The world will soon know our power?" Naruto clenched his fists, feeling Broly's energy surge within him. "We won't let you take anything from us," he shouted defiantly, stepping forward. Pain chuckled darkly. "Foolish child. Your power is nothing against the inevitable. We will take what we desire." Battle commences as the first Akatsuki member lunged at them. The air exploded with chaos. Naruto felt the world around him fade as he tapped into Broly's power, transforming into his Super Saiyan state. The aura erupted around him, shimmering gold and green as he surged forward to engage the enemy. "Let's do this," Naruto yelled, launching himself at the nearest member. With a powerful punch, he collided with the enemy, the impact reverberating through the air. Sasuke followed suit, activating his Sharingan and weaving through the chaos with precision. He engaged another enemy, slicing through with his katana, lightning crackling around him as he unleashed a barrage of shuriken. "Stay sharp, everyone," Sakura shouted as she utilized her healing jutsu, keeping their group patched up while sending powerful punches to fend off attackers. Hinata remained vigilant, her Byakugan activated. "They're coming in waves. I can see more behind them," she warned. The fight intensifies. The battle escalated quickly, with Naruto unleashing a torrent of energy blasts. Each explosion created shockwaves, throwing enemies off balance and scattering them. "Take that," Naruto shouted, firing off a powerful energy sphere that sent several attackers flying. The thrill of power coursed through him, and he could feel Broly's essence guiding his movements. But just as they began to gain ground, A particularly powerful Akatsuki member stepped forward. Deidara. Tisk. Tisk. How naive. You think you can defeat us with sheer power? Deidara flicked his wrist, sending explosive clay creatures soaring toward the group. Let's see how you handle this. Watch out. Hinata cried, her eyes widening as she spotted the incoming explosions. Cover your eyes. Sakura yelled, as they all dove for cover. Finding strength in unity, the explosions rocked the area, dust and debris flying everywhere. Naruto felt the ground tremble beneath him, but he quickly regained his footing. We need to take him out first, he yelled, glancing at Sasuke and Sakura. I'll distract him while you guys prepare a counterattack. Be careful, Sasuke warned, but he could see the determination in Naruto's eyes. Naruto powered up once more, feeling the warmth of Broly's strength enveloping him. With a fierce shout, he charged at Deidara, dodging the explosions as he closed the distance. Get ready for this, Naruto yelled, gathering energy in his palm as he prepared a Rasengan infused with Broly's power. Rasengan. The sphere of swirling energy glowed with intensity. And as he hurled it at Deidara, the explosion lit up the night sky, turning the tide caught off guard. Deidara barely had time to react before the attack slammed into him, knocking him back and disrupting his clay creations. The other Akatsuki members faltered, confused by the sudden shift in momentum. Now's our chance, Sasuke shouted, darting forward to capitalize on the distraction. He unleashed a barrage of lightning-infused kunai, striking down any foes who dared to approach. Sakura rushed forward, her fists glowing with chakra. Let's finish this. She launched a powerful punch at another enemy, the force sending them sprawling. Hinata activated her gentle fist technique, moving gracefully through the fray as she struck vital points on their attackers. We have to keep pushing. A dark shadow approaches, but just as victory seemed within reach, another figure emerged from the shadows. Itachi Uchiha. His presence sent a chill through the air, and Naruto could feel the weight of his gaze. Stay alert, Itachi warned, his tone serious. The battle is far from over. Naruto felt a mix of apprehension and admiration. He knew of Itachi's strength and the power he possessed. But now wasn't the time to hesitate. We can handle this. We'll fight together. Itachi nodded slightly, his eyes scanning the battlefield. Then let's finish this. The climax of battle with renewed determination. The group pressed on. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura formed a powerful trio, combining their jutsu with precision. They executed coordinated attacks, each one complementing the other's strengths. As the battle raged on, Naruto channeled Broly's energy into one final attack. Let's end this, he shouted, raising his hands to the sky. The golden-green aura blazed around him, and he summoned every ounce of strength he could muster. Rasen Shuriken, he roared, launching the massive, swirling sphere of energy toward the Akatsuki, aiming directly for pain. The attack soared through the air, a streak of blinding light, and when it connected, the explosion echoed like thunder, shaking the very ground beneath them. Aftermath. As the dust settled, the battlefield lay in disarray. The remaining Akatsuki members began to retreat, their expressions a mix of shock and disbelief. Naruto, panting heavily, looked around at his friends, their faces marked with exhaustion but filled with triumph. We did it, he exclaimed, his heart swelling with pride. Sasuke, breathing heavily, allowed himself a small smile. Yeah. But we need to stay vigilant. They'll be back. Sakura nodded, her eyes scanning the surroundings. Let's make sure everyone is safe. We need to check on the villagers. Hinata stepped forward, her Byakugan still active. I'll help scout the area. As they began to regroup, Naruto couldn't shake the feeling that this battle was only the beginning. He felt the power of Broly within him. And while it was exhilarating, he knew that with great power came even greater challenges. A new dawn. As dawn broke, the first rays of sunlight pierced through the horizon, casting a warm glow over the battlefield. Naruto looked toward the sky, feeling a sense of hope. They had faced the Akatsuki and emerged victorious. But he understood that their fight was far from over. We'll keep training, he said, turning to his friends. We won't let anything tear us apart. We'll protect our village and each other. With resolute hearts and a newfound strength, they prepared for the challenges that lay ahead. Naruto knew that no matter what came their way, they would stand together, ready to fight for their dreams, their village, and each other. And that was a promise he intended to keep. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, the villagers began to emerge from their homes. Witnessing the aftermath of the fierce battle, there was a mixture of awe and relief as they took in the sight of Naruto and his friends standing victorious. However, the weight of their victory felt heavy in the air, as if a storm was brewing just out of sight. Naruto wiped the sweat from his brow, feeling the fatigue set in. "We should head back to the village and regroup," he said, his voice steady but laced with concern. "I want to ensure everyone is okay." Sasuke glanced at him. A hint of worry etched on his face. "We need to remain cautious. The Akatsuki won't just back down after one defeat. They'll regroup and come at us harder." "Agreed," Sakura added, her expression serious. "We need to be prepared for their next move. They've got powerful members, and we barely managed to fend them off." As they made their way back to the village, Naruto couldn't shake off the feeling that something darker lurked in the shadows. The adrenaline from the battle had faded, and the reality of the situation settled heavily on his shoulders. The village may have been safe for now, but how long could that last? A meeting of minds upon reaching the village. They were met with cheers and gratitude from the villagers. Naruto felt a warmth in his chest as he received their praise. But deep down, he was restless. They had defended their home today. But what about tomorrow? The Hokage's office was bustling with activity as they entered. Tsunade was at the center, surrounded by Anbu members and various village leaders, all discussing the recent attack. The mood was tense, and Naruto sensed the urgency in the air. "Thank you for your efforts," Tsunade said as she noticed Naruto and the others entering. Her gaze turned serious. "But we need to talk about what comes next. The Akatsuki have their eyes set on this village, and we cannot afford to be complacent. Do we know how many members they have left?" Sasuke asked, crossing his arms. "From what we gathered, they have at least 4 or 5 active members still in the area," Tsunade replied, her brow furrowed. "Pain may have retreated, but he'll regroup and plan a more devastating attack." Naruto felt a knot form in his stomach. "We have to do something. We can't let them take our home." Tsunade nodded. "We'll need to bolster our defenses and prepare for their next assault. We should also gather intelligence on their movements. I want you all to work with the Anbu and scout the area for any signs of their presence." A new training regimen. The team nodded in agreement, understanding the gravity of the situation. As they left the meeting, Naruto felt an overwhelming urge to train. He needed to push himself beyond his limits to ensure he was ready for whatever the Akatsuki would throw at them next. "I'm heading to the training grounds," Naruto declared, determination radiating from him. "I need to master this power if I'm going to protect everyone." "I'm with you," Sasuke said, his competitive spirit flaring. "I need to train too." Sakura nodded, her resolve firm. "Let's make sure we're all prepared. We can't afford to let our guard down." Hinata smiled softly, her confidence bolstered by their unity. "Together, we'll grow stronger." The hidden training ground. The training ground was a secluded area surrounded by thick trees, providing a sense of peace that contrasted with the tension in the air. Naruto took a deep breath, letting the scent of nature fill his lungs as he prepared to unleash his newfound power. "Okay, let's see how much I can control this," he said, focusing on the energy within him. He closed his eyes and envisioned Broly's strength, picturing the legendary Saiyan's raw power flowing through him. As he concentrated, his aura flared to life, shimmering with golden-green light. The energy pulsed around him, crackling with potential. With a shout, he released a burst of energy into the sky, watching as it illuminated the clearing. Sasuke observed from the sidelines, nodding with approval. "That's impressive, Naruto. Your control is improving." "Thanks, but I can do better," Naruto replied, determination blazing in his eyes. He pushed himself harder, channeling Broly's intense energy into his movements, feeling the power surging within him. Training together, Sasuke joined in, activating his Sharingan and weaving through the trees. "Let's make this interesting. I'll push you to your limits. Bring it on," Naruto shouted, charging forward. They sparred fiercely, exchanging blows and techniques. Naruto felt invigorated by the challenge, his confidence growing with each successful dodge and counterattack. Sasuke's lightning-fast movements tested his reflexes, but Naruto's adaptability allowed him to keep pace. Meanwhile, Sakura and Hinata practiced their own techniques nearby. Sakura focused on her strength and healing abilities, honing her precision and speed, while Hinata worked on her gentle fist techniques, determined to maximize her potential as a fighter. A spark of inspiration after hours of intense training, Naruto collapsed onto the ground, panting heavily but filled with a sense of accomplishment. He glanced over at his friends, who were equally worn out but glowing with determination. "Good job, everyone. I think we're getting stronger," Naruto said, wiping the sweat from his brow. Sasuke sat beside him, catching his breath. "We have to keep this up. If we want to defeat the Akatsuki, we need to stay ahead of them." Sakura nodded, her gaze thoughtful. "Maybe we should also work on some combined techniques. We could enhance our strategies and use each other's strengths to our advantage." "That's a great idea," Hinata agreed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "If we work together, we can create techniques that amplify our powers." Naruto's heart raced at the prospect of their combined efforts. "Let's do it. We'll train together every day until we're ready." The hidden threat revealed as they made their plans. Naruto's mind wandered back to the battle. Something had felt off during the fight, an unshakable feeling that they were missing a piece of the puzzle. That evening, as they returned to the village, Naruto decided to investigate further. He couldn't shake the feeling that the Akatsuki's defeat hadn't been a complete victory. "Hey, I'm going to head to the library and see if I can find any more information about the Akatsuki's past battles and their strategies," he announced to the group. Sasuke raised an eyebrow. "You think that will help?" "Yeah. Maybe it will give us a clue about their next move," Naruto replied. "I'll catch up with you guys later." Unraveling secrets. As Naruto arrived at the village library, he was greeted by the familiar scent of parchment and ink. He settled down at a table, flipping through dusty tomes and scrolls filled with history and strategy. Hours passed as he immersed himself in the texts, piecing together the history of the Akatsuki, their motivations, and the members' strengths and weaknesses. The more he read, the more he understood the gravity of their threat. "Pain. Itachi. Deidara," he murmured to himself, absorbing the information. "They're stronger than I thought." Just as he was about to close a particularly thick book, something caught his eye. A mention of a hidden member. A puppet master whose name sent shivers down Naruto's spine. "Zetsu," he whispered, recalling snippets of the reports. "He's a spy, able to gather information unnoticed." A new sense of urgency realization hit him like a bolt of lightning. If Zetsu was watching them, they had to be even more cautious. He quickly gathered the scrolls and made his way back to the training ground, where his friends were still wrapping up their training. "Guys, I think I found something important," Naruto shouted as he entered the clearing. Sasuke looked up, curiosity piqued. "What is it?" "Zetsu, one of the Akatsuki members, is a spy. He could be watching us right now," Naruto exclaimed, urgency lacing his voice. Sakura gasped, her expression turning serious. "If that's true, then we have to change our strategies. We can't let them anticipate our moves. Let's inform Tsunade," Sasuke suggested, his mind racing with the implications. The call to action with a new sense of urgency. The group hurried back to the village, determined to relay their findings to Tsunade. They understood that their battle against the Akatsuki was far from over, and the stakes had never been higher. As they approached the Hokage's office, Naruto felt the weight of their responsibility pressing down on him. The world outside was fraught with danger, but together, they were stronger than any threat they faced. Tsunade listened intently as they recounted their discoveries, her brow furrowed in concentration. "This changes everything," she said finally, her voice resolute. "We need to strategize and work together. I want you all to keep training, but remain vigilant. We can't allow Zetsu to gather any more information." Naruto nodded, determination surging through him. "We won't let you down, Tsunade. We'll protect the village." As they left the Hokage's office, Naruto glanced at his friends. A fire ignited in his heart. They would face whatever challenges lay ahead together. united by their bonds and their desire to protect the village they called home. And as night fell over the hidden leaf village, an unseen figure lurked in the shadows, watching, waiting for the right moment to strike. The true test of their strength was yet to come. As night descended upon the hidden leaf village, the atmosphere felt charged, as if the very air trembled with the impending threat of the Akatsuki. Naruto, unable to sleep, found himself wandering through the quiet streets, the soft glow of lanterns illuminating his path. He replayed the day's events in his mind, the weight of their discovery heavy on his shoulders. What if Zetsu is already plotting something? He murmured to himself, his fists clenched in determination. We can't let our guard down. His thoughts were interrupted by the soft sound of footsteps behind him. Turning, he saw Sakura approaching, her expression thoughtful. Can't sleep either? She asked, falling into step beside him. Nope, Naruto replied, glancing around. I keep thinking about what Zetsu could be planning. We need to be ready for anything. Sakura nodded, her brow furrowed. I've been thinking about that too. We should probably train harder. Maybe even train late at night when it's quieter. It could give us an edge. Great idea, Naruto said, his spirits lifting. Let's head back to the training ground. I'll grab a few things and meet you there. The midnight training session. The training ground was dark, illuminated only by the pale light of the moon. Naruto arrived first, eager to start. He began stretching and channeling his energy, feeling the familiar warmth of Broly's power within him. The aura pulsed around him, a gentle reminder of the strength he had yet to fully master. Sakura arrived a short while later, carrying a few training tools and weights. I thought we could incorporate some resistance training into our routine, she suggested, setting down the equipment. It'll help build our strength faster. Naruto grinned. Sounds good. Let's see how much we can push ourselves tonight. They began their training under the moonlight, engaging in a mixture of combat practice and endurance drills. Naruto felt the flow of energy within him, each movement becoming more fluid and powerful. He visualized Broly's training, pushing himself to channel the raw strength that came with the Saiyan heritage. As they trained, they occasionally paused to catch their breath, sharing thoughts about their plans and strategies for facing the Akatsuki. You know, I've been thinking, Sakura said during one of their breaks. What if we each trained our own unique techniques that complement each other? We could combine them during a fight. Like what? Naruto asked, curious. Well, if I focus on my healing abilities and you combine that with Broly's energy, we could create a barrier that protects us while healing at the same time, she explained, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. That's brilliant, Naruto exclaimed, feeling inspired. We should definitely work on that. An unexpected visitor as they continued their training. A sudden rustle in the bushes caught their attention. Both Naruto and Sakura spun around, their senses heightened. The darkness around them felt more intense, and a sense of foreboding filled the air. Did you hear that? Naruto whispered, his instincts kicking in. Sakura nodded, her hand instinctively moving toward her kunai. Yeah. Something's out there. The rustling grew louder, and before they could react, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was Hinata, her eyes wide with concern. Naruto. Sakura. I'm glad I found you. Hinata. Naruto exclaimed, relief flooding through him. What are you doing here? I couldn't sleep either, she admitted, glancing around nervously. I felt like something was off. I wanted to check on you too. Naruto's heart warmed at her concern. Thanks, Hinata. We're just training, but we're on high alert. We think the Akatsuki might be planning something. We need to stay together, Sakura said, her voice steady. We're stronger as a team. Hinata nodded, determination filling her gaze. I want to help too. I've been working on my gentle fist technique, and I think I'm getting better at it. Then let's train together, Naruto said, a grin spreading across his face. The more we work together, the stronger we'll be. Training in unity, the trio settled into a rhythm, their energies blending as they pushed each other to excel. Naruto showcased his evolving techniques, experimenting with the energy blasts that Broly's power allowed him to create. He felt the rush of raw energy surge through him as he launched a series of ki blasts into the night sky, illuminating the area with brilliant bursts of light. Sakura practiced her chakra control, healing minor wounds and enhancing her physical abilities, while Hinata demonstrated her gentle fist techniques, striking with precision and speed. As they trained, the bond between them deepened. They learned to synchronize their moves, combining their strengths into powerful combinations. The night air was filled with the sounds of their training, the rustle of leaves, the crackle of energy, and the camaraderie of friends working together toward a common goal. A sense of accomplishment. Hours later, they took a break, panting and exhausted but exhilarated. The moon hung high in the sky, casting a serene glow over the training ground. "That was amazing," Naruto said, beaming with pride. "I feel stronger already." Sakura wiped the sweat from her forehead, her smile bright. "And we're just getting started. Imagine how powerful we'll be when we fully master our techniques." Hinata's cheeks flushed with excitement. "I can't wait to show everyone what we can do." Just as they began to relax, a chill ran through the air. The atmosphere shifted, and an unsettling feeling washed over them. The hairs on the back of Naruto's neck stood on end. "Did you feel that?" Naruto asked, glancing around. Sakura's eyes narrowed. "Something's not right." Before they could react, a dark figure emerged from the shadows, its presence commanding and ominous. The figure stepped into the moonlight, revealing itself to be Zetsu, the Akatsuki's hidden member, a twisted grin stretching across his face. A battle unfolds. "Ah, I found you, little heroes," Zetsu said, his voice dripping with malice. "I must say, you've made my job so much easier. How kind of you to train here at night." Naruto felt his heart race. "What do you want, Zetsu?" he demanded, stepping forward. "You're not going to lay a finger on my friends or this village." Zetsu chuckled, a sinister sound echoing in the darkness. "You're quite brave, Naruto. But bravery won't save you from what's to come. The Akatsuki has plans for this village, and you're merely pawns in a much larger game." Sakura positioned herself protectively in front of Hinata. "We'll fight you," she declared, determination burning in her eyes. "Yeah? We won't let you hurt anyone," Naruto added, channeling Broly's energy, his aura flaring around him. He could feel the raw power within him, ready to be unleashed. The power within Zetsu laughed, seemingly unfazed by their defiance. "Very well. Let's see what you've got. But don't be disappointed when you realize just how outmatched you are." With that, Zetsu lunged forward, his movements fluid and unpredictable. Naruto reacted instinctively, launching a powerful energy blast toward the figure. The blast illuminated the night as it soared through the air, but Zetsu dodged effortlessly. A smirk plastered across his face. "Is that all you've got?" he taunted. Sakura rushed in, throwing kunai at Zetsu, but he effortlessly evaded them, slipping into the shadows. "Watch out," Naruto shouted, sensing the danger. Hinata took a deep breath and activated her Byakugan, her eyes glowing with clarity. "I can see him. He's behind you, Naruto." Naruto spun around just in time to see Zetsu darting toward him. With a surge of energy, he unleashed a powerful punch, connecting with Zetsu and sending him crashing to the ground. "Not bad," Zetsu spat, getting back to his feet, his expression more serious now. "But you'll need more than brute strength to take me down. A team effort? Let's combine our attacks," Sakura shouted, her eyes shining with determination. "Right," Naruto agreed, adrenaline pumping through his veins. "Hinata, can you use your gentle fist to create an opening for us?" Hinata nodded, focusing her chakra. "I'll do my best." As Zetsu lunged at them again, Hinata struck first, her gentle fist technique connecting with his side. The hit disrupted Zetsu's movements, giving Naruto the opening he needed. "Now!" he yelled, channeling Broly's energy into a concentrated blast. Raging storm. The energy gathered in his hands, swirling with power as he unleashed it toward Zetsu. The blast struck true, enveloping Zetsu in a whirlwind of energy. For a moment, the light blinded them all, illuminating the training ground like a day at noon. As the light faded, they saw Zetsu stagger back, visibly shaken but still standing. "Impressive. But you'll need to do better than that," he sneered, his voice laced with fury. An unexpected change. Naruto felt a rush of frustration, but beneath it lay an unyielding resolve. The power within him surged, igniting his spirit. He could feel Broly's energy calling to him, urging him to let go of his limitations. "Let's finish this," he shouted, feeling his aura intensify. As he summoned Broly's energy, a transformation began. His hair began to glow, shifting to a vibrant golden hue as power radiated from him. The ground shook beneath their feet, and Sakura and Hinata watched in awe as Naruto fully embraced his Saiyan heritage. Zetsu's eyes widened in surprise. What is this power?" "Broly's power," Naruto declared, a fierce grin spreading across his face. "And it's just the beginning. The final stand with newfound strength." Naruto charged forward, a whirlwind of energy and determination. He fought alongside his friends, their combined techniques blending seamlessly. They struck together, each movement more powerful than the last. Zetsu, overwhelmed by their unity and strength, faltered. With one final push, Naruto unleashed a devastating attack, sending Zetsu crashing to the ground. Panting, Naruto and his friends stood together, ready to face whatever came next. They had proven their strength, but the true battle was still ahead. As they caught their breath, Naruto looked at his friends, pride swelling in his chest. "We did it. Together." But in the distance, the shadows grew longer, and the true threat of the Akatsuki loomed ever closer. As the echoes of their battle faded into the night, Naruto, Sakura, and Hinata stood in the aftermath of their confrontation with Zetsu, adrenaline still coursing through their veins. The training ground, once a place of camaraderie and growth, now bore the marks of their fierce struggle. Craters in the earth, scorch marks from energy blasts, and the scattered remnants of training equipment. Breathing heavily, Naruto turned to his friends, a grin spreading across his face. "We really showed him, didn't we?" Sakura chuckled, brushing a strand of hair from her forehead. "Yeah. I can't believe how well we worked together. That was incredible." Hinata, still catching her breath, nodded earnestly. "I never thought we could combine our techniques like that. It felt amazing." Naruto's eyes sparkled with excitement as he looked at them. "And it's just the beginning. We can train even harder and become even stronger together." But deep down, he felt a nagging worry. Zetsu had been only one member of the Akatsuki, and they knew that the organization's full strength was yet to be revealed. The rising threat as the trio began to clean up the remnants of their training session. Naruto's mind raced with thoughts of what lay ahead. "We should warn the others about Zetsu's appearance and the Akatsuki's plans. They need to be prepared." Sakura nodded, her expression serious. "Definitely. If they're planning something big, we have to be ready to stand together as a village." Hinata glanced at Naruto, her Byakugan fading as she let out a soft breath. "And we need to keep training. I have a feeling we'll need every bit of strength we can muster." The three of them made their way back to the village, the moonlight guiding their path. As they walked, they discussed their strategies, sharing ideas on how to improve their techniques and strengthen their bond. A meeting of minds. Upon returning to the village, they headed to the Hokage's office, where Tsunade was already deep in discussion with Shikamaru and Kakashi. The atmosphere was tense, filled with the urgency of their recent encounters. Naruto, Sakura, Hinata. Tsunade greeted, her expression shifting from worry to relief. "You're back. We've been discussing the Akatsuki's movements." Kakashi looked up from his notes. "We need to strategize. Zetsu is only a piece of the puzzle, and we know the Akatsuki won't stop until they achieve their goals." "What did you find out?" Naruto asked, eager to share their experience. Sakura jumped in. "We fought Zetsu earlier tonight. He taunted us about their plans. But we managed to defeat him." "Defeated Zetsu?" Shikamaru exclaimed, raising an eyebrow. "That's impressive. But it's only a temporary victory. They'll come after you harder now." Kakashi nodded, his gaze serious. "You all need to train even more. It's clear that your new powers can make a significant difference. But we can't rely solely on strength. We need strategy and teamwork." Naruto felt the weight of those words settle in his mind. "We'll train together, focus on our techniques, and figure out how to outsmart them." Preparing for war. As the meeting continued, they discussed tactics and potential targets of the Akatsuki, analyzing their previous encounters and predicting their next moves. The seriousness of their mission hung heavily in the air, each member of the group aware of the stakes involved. Everyone is going to need to step up, Tsunade emphasized, looking each of them in the eye. Gather your teams and begin preparations. We need to be ready for anything. After the meeting concluded, Naruto, Sakura, and Hinata gathered outside the Hokage's office, their expressions reflecting the seriousness of their task ahead. I'll call a meeting with the other teams, Sakura suggested, determination shining in her eyes. We need everyone on board. Good idea, Hinata agreed. And I'll talk to my clan. They'll want to help defend the village. Naruto's heart swelled with pride at their dedication. I'll go and find Sasuke and the others. We need to strengthen our bonds and work together. A sense of urgency as they parted ways. Naruto felt a sense of urgency push him forward. He sprinted through the village, determination fueling his steps. He couldn't shake the feeling that time was running out. The Akatsuki were gathering their forces, and they needed to be prepared for whatever came next. When he finally found Sasuke training at the outskirts of the village, the dark-haired ninja was deep in concentration, his movements fluid and precise. Naruto approached, his heart racing. Sasuke, he called, breathless. We need to talk. Sasuke turned, his expression calm but curious. What is it? Naruto. The Akatsuki. They're planning something. And Zetsu showed up tonight. We fought him. But we know it's just the beginning, Naruto explained, urgency in his voice. We need to join forces and prepare. Sasuke's eyes narrowed, reflecting the seriousness of the situation. I see. We can't underestimate them. If they're targeting the village, we have to protect it at all costs. I'm calling a meeting with the others, Naruto continued. We need everyone on board, and we need to train together. Then let's get moving, Sasuke said, determination evident in his tone. I'll gather my team. Reunited strength with Sasuke by his side, they made their way back to the village, gathering their friends along the way. In a short time, they had assembled a group that included Sakura, Hinata, and several other skilled ninjas from the village. As they gathered in a clearing, Naruto felt the weight of leadership settle on his shoulders. Thanks for coming, everyone. We need to talk about the Akatsuki and how we can protect our home. Sakura stepped forward, her voice steady. We have to strengthen our bonds and train harder than ever before. We need to be ready for anything they throw at us. Exactly, Sasuke added. We can't let them tear our village apart. We've faced challenges before, and we've always come out stronger. Naruto nodded, feeling inspired by their resolve. Let's work together to create new techniques and strengthen our abilities. If we unite, we can take them down. The group erupted into discussions, strategizing ways to combine their skills and prepare for the battles ahead. Ideas flowed, techniques were shared, and a sense of camaraderie filled the air. The dawn of a new day as the sun began to rise, casting a warm golden light over the Hidden Leaf village. Naruto felt a renewed sense of hope. They would face the Akatsuki together, united as a team, drawing strength from each other. With Broly's power at his side and the bonds he had forged with his friends, he felt ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. This time, they wouldn't just survive, they would thrive. Let's get to work, Naruto declared, his voice ringing with enthusiasm. We've got a village to protect. With determination in their hearts, the ninjas of the Hidden Leaf village began their preparations, ready to face the storm that loomed on the horizon. And in the depths of the night, a shadowy figure watched from afar, plotting the next move in the game of destiny. As the sun ascended higher in the sky, illuminating the Hidden Leaf village, a newfound sense of determination swept through its residents. The news of the Akatsuki's potential threat spread quickly, igniting a fire within the hearts of the villagers. Each ninja felt a responsibility to protect their home, their families, and their dreams. Naruto led his friends to the training grounds, where the energy was palpable. Teams were assembling, strategizing, and honing their skills. The air was filled with the sounds of clashing kunai, the crackle of chakra, and the laughter of camaraderie. They were all ready to fight, ready to defend. As the group gathered, Naruto took a moment to reflect on his journey. He had grown so much since his early days as a ninja. The power of Broly coursed through him, amplifying his strength and enhancing his abilities. But it was the bond with his friends that truly empowered him. He glanced around at his teammates. Sakura, Sasuke, Hinata, and the others. Each person representing a unique strength that complemented his own. Training regimen. Okay. Everyone, let's break into groups. Naruto called out, his voice cutting through the din. We'll focus on training our individual skills and then find ways to combine our techniques. Sakura raised her hand. I can work with Hinata and help her improve her medical ninjutsu. We need to be prepared for any injuries during battle. Sounds good. Hinata replied, her eyes sparkling with determination. I'll practice using my Byakugan more effectively during combat. It will help us coordinate better. Naruto turned to Sasuke. You and I can train together to combine our elemental techniques. With your fire style and my wind style, we can create something powerful. Sasuke smirked, the corner of his mouth lifting slightly. Let's see if you can keep up. Naruto. As the team split off to train, Naruto found himself alongside Sasuke in an open field. They stood a few meters apart, each focusing their chakra. Remember, we're not just practicing our techniques, Sasuke said, his expression serious. We need to develop a strategy that will allow us to use our strengths in unison. Got it. Naruto shouted back, channeling his chakra. I'll go first. With a deep breath, Naruto concentrated, feeling the familiar surge of energy within him. He began to form the hand signs for his wind-style technique, the air around him swirling in anticipation. Wind style. Great breakthrough, he exclaimed, unleashing a powerful gust of wind towards Sasuke. The force of the attack was fierce, but Sasuke was ready. He swiftly formed his hand signs, igniting the air with fire. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. The two techniques collided, creating a brilliant explosion of wind and fire that lit up the training ground. The sheer force knocked both boys backward, but they quickly regained their footing, grinning at each other. Not bad, Naruto said, brushing dirt from his clothes. Now let's try to combine them. Sasuke nodded, adjusting his stance. We can create a firestorm. You can enhance the wind, and I'll make the flames more intense. Firing up the training, the two continued their practice, refining their coordination as they learned to synchronize their jutsu. Each attempt brought them closer to mastering the combined technique, and they could feel their skills growing stronger with every clash. Meanwhile, Sakura and Hinata were hard at work, experimenting with new medical jutsu. Sakura carefully demonstrated how to quickly heal minor wounds, while Hinata used her Byakugan to track chakra flows, enhancing her ability to assess injuries during battle. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, fatigue began to set in. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and Hinata regrouped, panting but exhilarated. Let's take a break, Sakura suggested, wiping sweat from her brow. We've been at it for hours. Naruto nodded, his heart racing with excitement. Yeah. But we're getting better. We're going to be ready for anything. Just as they were about to relax, a sudden commotion drew their attention. The sound of footsteps echoed through the training ground, and a figure approached. A messenger from the Hokage's office. A new mission, Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura. The messenger called out, panting as he reached them. Tsunade wants to see you immediately. It's urgent. What happened? Naruto asked, his pulse quickening. Another Akatsuki member was spotted near the village's perimeter. The messenger explained, urgency in his voice. Tsunade needs you to help investigate and secure the area. Sasuke's expression hardened. Looks like we won't get our break after all. Let's move. Naruto exclaimed, adrenaline flooding his system. He turned to the others, determination in his eyes. We can't let them get close to the village. The group quickly gathered their belongings and sprinted toward the Hokage's office. Each step felt heavy with the weight of their mission, but they were resolute. They would not allow the Akatsuki to threaten their home. The gathering of heroes upon arriving at the Hokage's office. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura found Tsunade already in a heated discussion with Shikamaru, Kakashi, and other key members of the village. The air was thick with tension. Good. You're here, Tsunade said, glancing at them. We've confirmed the presence of another Akatsuki member on the outskirts. Reports suggest they're gathering intel on our defenses. Kakashi folded his arms, his expression grave. We need to intercept them before they gather too much information. Their next move could be disastrous for us. Which member? Sasuke asked, his eyes narrowing. Deidara, Shikamaru replied. A master of explosive clay. We can't underestimate him. Naruto clenched his fists, feeling the familiar surge of energy. Let's take him down before he can do any damage. Exactly, Tsunade said, her voice firm. You three will lead the mission, along with a team of our best fighters. We'll need to coordinate our efforts. Understood, Sakura replied, her expression determined. We'll make sure he doesn't get away. The hunt begins. The team quickly organized, gathering supplies and strategizing their approach. Naruto felt a surge of excitement and apprehension as they prepared to face Deidara. As they set out, the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the landscape. The atmosphere was tense but charged with anticipation. Each member of the team understood the stakes. Failure was not an option. As they approached the designated area where Deidara was last seen, the air grew thick with tension. Naruto could feel the energy shifting, the weight of the moment pressing down on him. Stay alert, Sasuke instructed, his eyes scanning the surroundings. He could be hiding anywhere. With every step, Naruto's senses heightened. He had fought numerous enemies before, but the thought of facing an Akatsuki member filled him with determination. He could feel the power of Broly within him, a reminder that he had the strength to protect those he loved. The face-off suddenly. A flicker of movement caught Naruto's eye. A figure emerged from the trees, standing confidently with an unsettling smirk. Deidara stood before them, his signature clay creations hovering around him, ready to strike. Well, if it isn't the little ninjas of the leaf. I've come to collect some pretty souvenirs. Naruto stepped forward, his expression fierce. We won't let you take anything from our village. Oh, is that so? Deidara teased, his voice dripping with arrogance. How cute. Let's see if you can handle my art. With a swift motion, Deidara unleashed a barrage of explosive clay birds, hurtling toward the team. Get down, Sakura shouted, pushing Hinata out of the way as the explosions lit up the clearing. The clash of arts as smoke billowed around them. Naruto felt his instincts kick in. I'll distract him. You guys focus on dodging and finding an opening. Right. Sakura and Hinata replied. Ready to execute their plan, Naruto charged forward, summoning Broly's power. He felt the energy surging within him, filling him with strength. With a fierce battle cry, he unleashed a powerful wave of wind, scattering the smoke and forcing Deidara to dodge. Impressive, but not enough. Deidara laughed, creating more clay creations. You'll have to try harder. As the explosions rained down, Naruto focused on his friends. Sakura, Hinata, combine your jutsu. Let's do this. Sakura shouted, her resolve unwavering. Hinata activated her Byakugan, pinpointing Deidara's movements. Now, Sakura, with impeccable timing, Sakura unleashed a barrage of medical needles infused with chakra while Hinata used her gentle fist technique to strike at Deidara's clay creations, disabling them before they could detonate. Nice teamwork, Naruto exclaimed, adrenaline rushing through him. Keep it up, Deidara, taken aback by their synchronized assault, scowled. You think you can stop me? I'll show you the true meaning of art. Unleashing true power as the battle intensified, Naruto felt Broly's energy resonate within him. The power surged, urging him to unleash his true potential. He focused, channeling that energy into a single, powerful technique. Get ready. I'm going all out, he shouted, gathering the wind around him. With a fierce determination, Naruto transformed the wind into a swirling vortex, amplifying its strength. Wind style. Tornado barrage. The vortex shot toward Deidara, creating a whirlwind of destructive energy. Deidara's eyes widened as he realized the threat. Damn it. This isn't over, he shouted, attempting to escape. But it was too late. The tornado engulfed him, the force of the attack sending shockwaves through the area. As the dust settled, Naruto stood at the center, panting but triumphant. The ground was scorched, but they had successfully neutralized Deidara's threat. Did we get him? Hinata asked, her voice filled with hope. Sakura rushed forward, checking the area. I think so. We need to secure the perimeter and ensure he's not getting up again. A moment of relief with the battle won. The team took a moment to catch their breath. They exchanged relieved smiles, knowing they had succeeded in their mission. Great job, everyone. Naruto beamed, pride swelling in his chest. We did it together. As they began to regroup, the sense of urgency returned. The Akatsuki would not stop, they would come again. We need to report back to Tsunade, Sasuke said, his tone serious. We can't let our guard down. Right? Naruto agreed, determination etched on his face. We'll train harder, get even stronger, and be ready for whatever comes next. The road ahead as they made their way back to the village. Naruto felt a sense of clarity wash over him. They were on the right path, fighting together as a team. The bonds they had forged would be their greatest strength in the battles ahead. With Brawly's power fueling his resolve and the unwavering support of his friends, he was ready to face any challenge that lay ahead. The Akatsuki would learn that the Hidden Leaf Village was not to be underestimated. They would fight for their home, their families, and each other. And as the sun set behind the mountains, casting a warm glow over the village, Naruto knew that their journey was just beginning. As the group made their way back through the familiar paths of the Hidden Leaf Village, the echoes of their recent battle faded, replaced by a sense of accomplishment and a renewed determination. Naruto led the way, his heart pounding not just from the physical exertion but from the thrill of victory. Each step brought him closer to home, where they could strategize for the next inevitable encounter with the Akatsuki. When they arrived at the village gates, the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a golden hue over the village. Children played in the streets, and villagers went about their evening routines, blissfully unaware of the looming threat. Naruto took a moment to appreciate the peaceful scene, a stark contrast to the chaos they had just faced. Let's report to Tsunade, Sakura suggested, her brow furrowing in thought. She'll want to know what happened and our assessment of Deidara. Right? Sasuke agreed, his expression serious as they navigated through the bustling streets. We need to inform her of our strategy moving forward. The meeting with Tsunade. Once inside the Hokage's office, they found Tsunade poring over scrolls, her forehead creased with concentration. She looked up as they entered, her expression shifting to one of relief. You're back, Tsunade exclaimed, rising from her seat. What's the status? Did you encounter Deidara? Yes. Hokage-sama? Naruto began, stepping forward. We confronted him, and we managed to neutralize the threat before he could gather intel on the village. He won't be bothering us for a while. Tsunade's eyes narrowed, a mixture of pride and concern in her gaze. Good work. But we can't afford to let our guard down. The Akatsuki won't stop until they achieve their goals. What have you learned about their plans? Sasuke stepped in, his voice steady. Deidara mentioned something about collecting souvenirs. It's possible they're looking for a way to exploit our weaknesses or acquire powerful jutsu from the village. Or worse, gather information to target our allies. Sakura added, crossing her arms. We should prepare for multiple attacks. Tsunade nodded, absorbing their information. Very well. I want you four to assemble a training team. We'll need to bolster our defenses and enhance our offensive strategies. Gather intel on the remaining Akatsuki members, and report back to me with your findings. Yes. Hokage-sama, they chorused, a sense of purpose fueling their resolve. Strengthening bonds as they left the Hokage's office, Naruto felt a surge of energy within him. With each battle, his bond with his friends deepened, and he was determined to protect them. Let's train together more often, he suggested, glancing at Sasuke and Sakura. We've all gotten stronger, but we need to push our limits. Sasuke smirked, a flicker of competitive spirit in his eyes. You're on. I'll show you what real training looks like. Bring it on, Naruto replied, his competitive nature igniting. But let's include Hinata. She's been working hard on her jutsu. Absolutely, Sakura agreed. We need to make sure everyone is prepared for what's coming. As they strategized, Hinata joined them, her gentle demeanor contrasting with their high energy. I can help with our medical jutsu as well. I want to ensure we're ready for any injuries during training." "Great idea, Hinata," Naruto said, his eyes shining with enthusiasm. "Together, we'll become unstoppable." Training grounds of the Leaf. The next morning, they gathered at the training grounds. The sun rose slowly, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. The air was fresh and invigorating, perfect for honing their skills. "All right, let's start with some warm-ups," Naruto announced, leading them through a series of stretches and agility drills. The others followed, their camaraderie evident as they laughed and encouraged each other. Once warmed up, they transitioned into more rigorous training. Sasuke and Naruto faced off, their movements swift and precise. "Show me what you've got," Naruto challenged, channeling Broly's energy to enhance his speed and strength. "Fine. But don't cry when you lose," Sasuke shot back, igniting his Sharingan as he prepared for the attack. The two engaged in a flurry of movement, strikes and dodges blending seamlessly. Each clash of their jutsu sent waves of chakra radiating through the training grounds, drawing the attention of nearby villagers. Meanwhile, Hinata and Sakura focused on their medical techniques, with Hinata using her Byakugan to observe the flow of chakra as Sakura practiced her healing jutsu on a makeshift training dummy. "Your chakra control is improving," Hinata praised, watching Sakura's careful application of her medical ninjutsu. "Thanks. I'm trying to keep up with you," Sakura replied, a smile on her face. "You're a natural at this." A moment of reflection after hours of intense training. The group took a break, panting and laughing as they collapsed onto the grass. "Wow. I'm exhausted," Naruto admitted, wiping sweat from his brow. "But it feels good to push ourselves like this." "Agreed," Sasuke said, gazing at the horizon. "Every challenge makes us stronger. We have to be ready for anything." "What do you think will happen next?" Hinata asked, her voice soft but curious. Naruto looked around at his friends, each one important to him. "I think we'll face more Akatsuki members soon. But as long as we stick together, we can overcome any obstacle." "Right," Sakura said, her eyes shining with determination. "We have each other's backs. That's what matters." A new threat approaches. Just as the group began to relax, a distant rumble echoed through the training grounds. It was unlike anything they had felt before. The ground trembled slightly beneath them, and the air crackled with energy. "What was that?" Sasuke asked, immediately on guard. "I don't know, but it feels intense," Naruto replied, his instincts kicking in. "Let's check it out." The group swiftly made their way toward the source of the disturbance. As they approached, they saw a figure standing atop a nearby hill, a silhouette against the fiery sky. "Is that?" Hinata began, squinting. As they got closer, the figure became clearer. It was tall and imposing, with a long coat fluttering in the wind. A familiar chakra emanated from him, unmistakable and powerful. "Deidara?" Sakura gasped, realizing it was not the same Akatsuki member they had fought. "No, this is someone else," Sasuke stated, his Sharingan flaring to life. "But he feels just as dangerous." The figure turned, revealing a smirk that sent chills down their spines. "Ah, how nice of you to join me. I was just getting warmed up." "The new challenger, I don't know who you are," Naruto shouted, stepping forward. "But if you think you can threaten our village, you're dead wrong." "Oh, but I'm not here to threaten," the figure replied, his voice smooth and confident. "I'm here to challenge you all. I've heard of your exploits, and I must say, I'm quite curious to see if you can back up your reputation." Naruto's eyes narrowed, fists clenched. "We don't back down from a fight. Bring it on. Then let the games begin," the figure said, launching himself forward with astonishing speed. In an instant, he was upon them, and the ground shook as he unleashed a wave of energy. Naruto quickly activated his Broly power, feeling the rush of energy course through him. "Everyone, get ready." The clash of titans. The fight erupted in a flurry of punches and kicks. The new challenger was incredibly strong, matching Naruto's attacks blow for blow. Sasuke and Sakura quickly joined the fray, using their combined skills to support Naruto. Sasuke unleashed his fire techniques while Sakura darted in to assist with medical ninjutsu whenever needed. "Watch out," Hinata shouted, using her Byakugan to pinpoint the enemy's movements. He's planning another attack. Got it. Naruto yelled, dodging to the side as the figure released a barrage of energy blasts. The battle raged on, each side pushing their limits. Naruto felt the energy within him swell, the power of Broly urging him to tap into his full potential. Let's end this, he shouted, focusing his energy. I'll show you what I can do. With a fierce battle cry, Naruto unleashed a wave of wind, channeling Broly's strength into a single powerful attack. The air around him swirled violently, creating a vortex of energy that engulfed the challenger. Wind style. Raging tempest. He bellowed, sending the attack surging forward. An unexpected outcome. The challenger smirked, seemingly unfazed. Impressive, but not enough. With a flick of his wrist, he countered Naruto's attack, dispersing the energy effortlessly. Naruto's eyes widened in disbelief. What? I told you. I'm here to test you, the challenger said, his voice dripping with confidence. Let's see how much more you can handle. As the fight continued, Naruto felt his heart racing with exhilaration and frustration. He needed to push further. Tap deeper into the power of Broly within him. Suddenly, a surge of anger and adrenaline coursed through him. He focused all his energy, channeling Broly's immense power as he transformed. Rah! He roared, his aura exploding outward, a golden light illuminating the battlefield. The ground shook beneath him as he reached a new level of strength, the energy resonating with the very core of his being. Now, let's see what you can really do, Naruto shouted, ready to unleash his full potential on this new foe. The battle rages on. The clash continued with renewed intensity. The village's outskirts shook as they fought, the stakes higher than ever. The challenger, intrigued by Naruto's transformation, began to take the fight more seriously. This is more like it, he exclaimed, lunging at Naruto with speed that pushed him to the edge. With each exchange, Naruto could feel Broly's power enhancing his abilities. He was faster, stronger, and more resilient than before. Come on, Naruto yelled, unleashing a barrage of punches and kicks, each blow landing with devastating force. But the challenger was relentless, countering each attack with skill and precision. You've got potential, but you're still holding back, Naruto gritted his teeth. Focusing on his training with his friends, the determination to protect them fueling his resolve. I won't back down. I'll fight with everything I have. As they clashed, Naruto knew this was just the beginning. The threat of the Akatsuki loomed, and he needed to harness every ounce of strength within him to protect his village and his friends. With a newfound purpose, he prepared for the next stage of the battle, ready to embrace the true power of Broly within him. The fight was far from over, and Naruto was determined to rise to the challenge, no matter the cost. As Naruto felt the heat of battle surge around him, the golden aura that surrounded him intensified. Each pulse of energy resonated with Broly's legacy, reminding him of the immense strength hidden within. He had felt the overwhelming power of the Saiyan warrior during their training sessions, and now was the time to unleash it. All right, he shouted, locking eyes with his opponent. Let's see how you handle this. With a deep breath, he focused all his chakra into a single, concentrated point. The air crackled with anticipation as he channeled the energy, his body vibrating with power. He remembered Broly's teachings, the importance of harnessing rage without losing control. Kaioken, he yelled, amplifying his speed and strength further. The energy surged through him, causing his aura to flare, transforming him into a beacon of raw power. The challenger's smirk faltered for a moment, a flicker of surprise crossing his face. Impressive. But let's see if you can keep up. With newfound speed, Naruto charged forward, launching a series of rapid punches that blurred into a flurry of movement. Each strike landed with the force of a meteor. But the challenger countered with agile maneuvers, narrowly avoiding some of the attacks while deflecting others. Not bad, but you'll have to do better, the figure taunted, retaliating with a barrage of energy blasts. Naruto evaded and countered, the intensity of their duel creating shockwaves that rippled through the surrounding area. Trees bent and cracked under the sheer force of their battle, sending debris flying as their clash escalated. A test of endurance. Sasuke and Sakura watched from the sidelines, both amazed and concerned. Naruto is really pushing himself, Sakura noted, her eyes glued to the fight. But that guy isn't giving him an inch. He's strong, Sasuke said, his analytical mind assessing their opponent. But Naruto's got something he hasn't tapped into yet. If he can get there, we might have a chance. Do you think we should help him? Hinata asked. Worry etched on her face. No, Sasuke replied firmly. This is Naruto's fight. He needs to prove to himself that he can handle this. An unexpected challenge. The battle continued, each moment more exhilarating than the last. Naruto felt the fatigue creeping into his limbs, but the thrill of the fight fueled his determination. He couldn't afford to lose, not to this new challenger or to the threats awaiting them from the Akatsuki. The challenger, clearly enjoying the fight, suddenly changed tactics. He disappeared in a flash of movement, appearing behind Naruto with lightning speed. Let's see how you handle this. Before Naruto could react, the challenger unleashed a powerful kick that sent him spiraling into the air. Naruto grunted, flipping midair and regaining his balance just in time to land on his feet. But the force of the kick left him momentarily dazed. Come on, Naruto. You can do this, Sakura shouted, her voice breaking through the haze. Naruto nodded, shaking off the disorientation. He could feel the energy of Broly rising within him, ready to be unleashed. The transformation. All right. You asked for it, he yelled, his voice filled with determination. Channeling his inner strength, he felt the warmth of Broly's spirit guiding him. I won't hold back any longer. He focused deeply, summoning every ounce of power he could find. Golden energy erupted from his body, swirling around him in a fierce whirlwind. His hair flared, glowing brighter as he tapped into the next level of transformation. Super Saiyan. He roared, his power skyrocketing. The world around him shimmered with energy, and he felt the boundaries of his strength expand infinitely. The challenger's eyes widened, but he quickly regained his composure. Now that's more like it, he said, grinning. Let's see what you can really do. The clash of titans intensifies with his power amplified. Naruto surged forward, moving faster than he ever had before. The air rippled with energy as he threw a powerful punch, connecting squarely with the challenger's midsection. The impact sent shockwaves through the ground, shaking the nearby trees. The challenger grunted, momentarily stunned but quickly retaliated with a flurry of punches. Not bad, but you'll have to do better than that. Naruto evaded, weaving around the strikes with newfound agility. He countered with a powerful kick, sending the challenger stumbling back. Rasengan! Naruto shouted, forming the swirling ball of chakra in his hand. He charged forward, launching the attack at his opponent. The Rasengan connected, exploding with a dazzling burst of energy. Impressive technique, the challenger admitted, gritting his teeth. But I'm not done yet. The final push. The battle continued to escalate, the energy in the air thickening with every exchange. Naruto felt the rush of adrenaline coursing through him as he adapted to each of the challenger's moves. I'm not going to lose, he declared, channeling Broly's essence into every punch and kick, his blows landing with overwhelming force. With a powerful shout, he unleashed a series of devastating energy blasts, pushing his opponent back. Kamehameha! He roared, combining Broly's energy with his own signature technique, creating a colossal wave of energy that surged toward the challenger. Enough of this, the figure yelled, raising his hands to counter Naruto's attack. The two forces clashed, creating a massive explosion that lit up the sky, sending shockwaves radiating outward. A shocking revelation as the dust settled. Both fighters stood, panting heavily. Naruto could feel the sweat rolling down his brow, but the thrill of the battle kept him going. The challenger, though battered, stood with a smirk, clearly impressed. Not bad, kid. You've got potential, he said, wiping blood from the corner of his mouth. But I came here for a challenge, not just a warm-up. What do you mean? Naruto panted, confused but intrigued. The challenger chuckled, crossing his arms. I'm not your enemy. My name is Kuro, a seeker of strength. I'm here to test the strongest of this generation. And you've proven yourself worthy. Naruto blinked, taken aback. Wait, You're not here to fight us for the Akatsuki? Not at all. Kuro replied, shaking his head. I have no interest in their goals. I'm simply drawn to strong fighters. And you? He gestured toward Naruto. You've caught my attention. An unexpected ally. Sasuke, Sakura, and Hinata approached cautiously, their gazes still wary. What's your angle? Sasuke asked, his eyes sharp. I'm not here to make enemies. Kuro insisted, holding up his hands in surrender. I respect strength and want to hone my abilities by sparring with those who are strong. You've all proven yourselves in battle today. Naruto considered Kuro's words, his instincts telling him to be cautious but also feeling the excitement of having met someone with such immense power. So, you want to train with us? Exactly, Kuro said, a grin spreading across his face. But only if you're willing to push yourselves to your limits. I can help you unlock even greater potential. Naruto looked back at his friends, their expressions varying from skepticism to intrigue. What do you think? He asked. I'm all for it. Sakura replied, her curiosity piqued. If he can help us get stronger, it might be worth the risk. I agree, Hinata added, her voice soft but confident. Having a powerful ally could help us prepare for the Akatsuki. Sasuke nodded, though his expression remained cautious. I'll keep an eye on him. But if he tries anything, I won't hesitate to take him down. Naruto grinned, feeling a surge of excitement. All right. Let's do it. A new chapter begins as they welcomed Kuro into their training circle. Naruto felt a renewed sense of purpose. The challenges ahead were formidable. But with friends by his side and new allies to help them grow stronger, he was ready for whatever the future held. The sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the training grounds. They gathered around Kuro, ready to learn and grow, the promise of adventure and discovery ahead of them. Let's get started, Kuro said, a spark of enthusiasm in his eyes. You've got a long way to go, but with determination, anything is possible. And as they began their new training regimen, Naruto felt the fire of ambition burning within him. He was more determined than ever to protect his village, his friends, and prove that no challenge was too great for the spirit of a true ninja. With Broly's power and the strength of his bonds, Naruto was ready to embrace the journey ahead. Together, they would grow stronger, face the Akatsuki, and rise to new heights, forging their own destiny in the ever-changing world of ninjas.